Hey everybody, welcome back to the solution. How's everybody doing?
Great day.
Doing good.
Everybody have
We
a
are
great weekend. We all right. So before we get started, Trigger, what's on your mind? Something you want to get off your chest?
no, we all right. It's Monday.
Oh,
We
okay,
survived.
okay.
You know how Mondays do.
True, I do. So I'm gonna let everybody go ahead and introduce themselves.
I'll go first. Hi, guys. I'm
You
Balance from Balance and Codes. I'm happy to see all of you today. Mike, I hope you hold it down for all the men today since you're by yourself. And it's going to be a great show.
You gonna stop referencing the fact like I'm by myself, like I'm worried. Chat. Do I look worried? Do I look worried?
A
But
little bit.
anyway, I am Trigger Mike of the Trigger Mike Show on the Lapeef Network. Today, though, I am the equalizer because Balance thinks I'm gonna be out here getting my ass handed to me. So we shall see.
I noticed that you changed your name. That's why I didn't even want to say Trigger because I'm like, when did he? All right, Denzel.
Denzel Washington.
Yeah.
My name's Cam. Just happy to be here. I'm ready to have a great conversation.
So this is Edaz. You can find me here on The Solution and Friday nights on She Critique as well.
Hey, my name is Saira, and I'm also here every now and then. So thank you for having me, and
Hey, Saida.
hope to see you again here or more often.
All right, okay. And I'm Curves. I'm glad to have everybody here tonight. So let's jump into the first topic. I do have a video for this. The first topic are people dating outside of their means. So let's see.
Within your means. If I spend money on me like a drug dealer, I expect you to spend money on me like a drug dealer. If we do not have the same financial capabilities, this isn't going to work, okay? If you're saving for something, you got plans in motion for your house or X, Y, and Z, that's cool. I can rock with that as long as you got a plan. Because you can tell me the plan and now we can figure out how we're going to make it mesh. But if you ain't got nothing and we just out floating in the wind, I don't think it's going to work. I have certain things that I like to do. And if we're going to work out, it will be easier if you're able to do the things that I want to do. For you women who want a man to buy you a Dior bag, but you can't purchase one for yourself. Y'all also need to date within your means. Y'all be wanting a lot and can't provide a lot. The math ain't mathing, all right?
All right. So what are your thoughts on that? Are people dating outside of their means? Anybody who wants to jump in. Balance.
I guess nobody else wanted to go first. All right. So I'll break the ice. You know what? I'm not 1,000% against what she said, but I have a caveat. Like, if she wants to date within her means, she should. Nothing wrong with that. But I think she should mind her business if there are women that want to date men that come from a higher caliber. Like, if that woman is making 45,000 and she wants to date a man that makes six figures and he doesn't mind, I don't think that's a problem. I really don't. I don't think it's an issue at all. If that's what they want to do, there's nothing wrong with that because men and women bring different things to the table. I don't think every man that's out here making 6, 7 figures is like, oh, my woman has to earn the same thing. Like, she has to earn as much money as I earn for us to be compatible. Like, no, I think that woman needs to be, what do they say on YouTube? The talking points: fit, friendly, feminine. That's what they say, right? But I mean, she needs to bring that feminine energy, right? Of course, she needs to be a nurturer, a feminine woman. That's what a man desires, right? So as far as making as much as he does, I don't think that's really necessary. And I think most men will tell you that's not really a prerequisite. That's how you say that? That's not really what they're asking for, right? So, I mean, nah, just be the woman that that man desires, and I think you're safe. But if that woman wants a man that makes as much as she does or more, that's her prerogative. But I mean, hey, everybody got different different things that they desire. Like, I want a man that makes enough. He don't have to be rich, but he has to make enough to take care of a family. He doesn't necessarily have to make 7 figures. But yeah, that's how I feel about it.
Cam.
So for me, I think I don't know, it's hard because I think a lot of women don't understand like that there's a floor and ceiling to dating, you know, and there's a floor to ceiling, I think, on like the type of men that, can y'all hear me?
You went out for a second.
Okay. You know, I think that, you know, some women can attract men that can do that without coming with the finances to back it up. But I don't, you know, I don't know if those men require those finances, but I just think that not every woman can obtain that type of man. So I just think that as a whole, we should just be realistic on what, you know, what we can get as women.
I definitely agree with you on that. But go ahead, Enos. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. Um, so I agree with Cam in the sense that not every woman has access to the kind of man who is buying Chanel bags on the regular. I don't think that being financially stable as a woman is what creates that floor to ceiling, right? But I think that it's important that men date women within their means. I think it's different for women dating men outside of their specific means. Just because the dynamic does become a little bit more problematic if the man is dating a woman outside of his means. Again, because he is the protector, provider. Not to say that some women don't have unrealistic expectations, right? I think that goes without saying. But I think in general, when men seek out women who are either high maintenance or are into a luxury lifestyle and they're not able to sustain that, I think that creates a lot of unnecessary pressure in a relationship. Whereas with women who don't make that lifestyle but require that of a man, I think the pressure is a little bit different in that sense. Again, because women are naturally hypergamous and it's always happened since marriage has been a thing. I think the dynamics are different depending on who is dating within their means.
Yeah. I agree with a little bit of everybody was saying, but so what I think is that it sounds bad the way that she's saying it. It sounds bad, but it makes sense at the same time. Because she has the right to say, okay, this is what I want. So that's why we understand that she's saying what she's saying, and it's fine. But what she has to understand is that the type of man that she wants to attract or to have the kind of money that she's spending are not looking for a woman like her. That's where I see the problem is, because she could be spending whatever money, whatever amount of money that she can, and she can say it. But when the man is reaching a certain level, they know that they don't have to, you know, look for a certain type of women, so he can get better. So that's where I see, you know, probably where, you know, that's why she's not getting the type of man. That's my opinion.
Equalizer. What's your thoughts, man?
Equalizer. That's
Yeah, you like the way that sounds, don't you?
I do actually. I do. Ooh, I can't stand posts like that. I mean, I can't wait from the time where we transcend from that, because it's not just what's being said, it's who's saying it that's really pissing me off. And you know, you can't be the least married person still talking the stuff that is responsible for your lack of marriage. To me, it's really disheartening, because I agree with Inaz and a little bit of balance in Cam and Saida. So men absolutely do need to date inside of their means, but to me, that's not the totality of the problem. The problem is that women are too materialistic. Um, if the average American has less than $400 in emergency cash, that means everybody is somewhat living outside of their means. So what I've really noticed, and I want people to let me know if I'm wrong, if I'm tripping, women now tend to do this thing where they want a man to be able not only to take care of them, that's baseline, right? Hey, pay the rent, pay the bills. You know, if I have kids and want to relax, maybe we can take a break. That type of stuff is, you know, that's pretty standard. But women want a man to be able to supplement their bad decision making. That is what I've noticed. Okay. So what she's basically saying is, I'm going to run the checkup on this credit card. I'm going to let the payment on the credit card overrun me and become too much. And the only man that can get with me must be able to help me with this. I'm going to get a car I can't afford. I'm going to get a Mercedes-Benz S63 AMG, even though I don't know that AMG has one mechanic, one specialized mechanic for that engine block. And to get a routine maintenance is going to cost anywhere between $600 and $1,200. And you didn't know that because a regular oil change is $70, right? She didn't know that. So the man that gets with her got to be able to pay that $1,200 for that routine maintenance. That's what women are essentially saying. And it's unfair. I'm going to tell you right now, it's unfair to black men to have to hustle and do more than the average man has to do, because it's not about really what a man can provide. It's about what y'all can build together. The large majority of relationships are building together. Up front, this woman is saying, you must be able to finance my luxury. That's not fair. It's not. It's going to take away the ability for you to build. So to me, she's basically just saying to the average man, don't get with her at all. Rule her out as ineligible. She will ruin the financial outlook of your family, because it don't matter who you're trying to be. She's going to stunt that growth from happening. That's what I
Trigger,
see.
is it ever okay if, let's say, a woman already provides her? Because I think, okay, so I think it's ridiculous when women are not able to do certain things for themselves, but they expect the guy to do it from, like, oh, let me take out to dinner. She's asking for some place she would never be able to afford to go, but she's going to utilize this man because he's going to take her on a date. But my question is it ever okay if a woman already gives herself a certain caliber of lifestyle and then she expects a man to maintain it? Because I feel like that would be the only way it's kind of acceptable, because it's like you're doing it for yourself.
So the reason I cited that statistic that the average American only has $400 in emergency cash is because that woman, there is a high likelihood she's living outside of her means. Unless she is a 150, people stop talking six figures, please. Until you've made six figures, you will know how little that is. All right? A man like me with a family in a house, just watch how quick that dissipates. Six figures is not a lot. So I'm going to say 150 at least for me to say, oh, that chick balling. That chick got a lot of emergency cash and spare cash. In America, you got to be at 150. Trust me. All right. So
a lot of people's in debt too, right?
Yeah, and no, like 2% of people make $150,000 a year. So that woman, even though you say she's providing it for herself, she's living beyond her means. Right? There are stories about rich girls that get married to average guys and understand that I cannot ask him to do what my father did. I'm going to just take the time to build him up to who my father was. I'm going to ask my father to help him provide the way you used to, but I must now scale down my life because I made a commitment to this marriage. I believe it is 100%, like I said, unfair. It's not that the man needs to scale up something he can't possibly scale up. It's that she needs to scale it down and get with the program. It's like literally the way 95% of people do things. It's going to come with time, right? It's really, that's how that bond is built with your husband and the person you're supposed to be with. Everything you get with time, right? So
yeah, I agree. Just really quick. I'm sorry, Cam. I'll let you get in there. But no, I hear what you're saying, because a lot of women want men who have like already arrived, already there. They don't want to work with a man anymore. And then like I just think of it like you said, like my mom. Okay, so my mom came from like a pretty decent family. Like she had a certain caliber lifestyle she was used to living. She met my dad. He was broke when she met him, and I wouldn't have thought, like, I'm thinking about myself. I'm like, dang, I don't know if I would go from being treated the way, she was treated under her dad's household to going to my dad down in the trenches, struggling it out until they made it to better. But I mean, a lot of women aren't trying to do that anymore.
They don't want to go through the struggle
Yeah.
and help them. But you know what I have noticed is that if they're making their own money and they want a man that is already or built up, they don't want to share what they have. They want the men to take care of everything. And my mentality is that if I work, and this is just me, if I work and the man is, helping with everything or paying everything, and I've said it before, if I want new mattress, if I want a new stove, if I want a new refrigerator or something, and I can buy it, then I don't have to ask him for it. Like, I can buy it. you know, and not put all those things on him, because I am putting money towards our house and
Mm-hmm.
it's to build our home. But what they want is for him to pay for everything, and she's only paying for her stuff. That's very selfish, you know, like
Do
their
you?
clothes, their shoes, their, you know, their hair, nails, all those stuff that are like, and then what about your house? What about your kids' clothes? What about their education? What about their extracurriculars? You know, that's just my mentality, but I think that's where they're lacking, because a man doesn't care if you make money or not. If you make it, what are you doing with the money? Are you
Listen,
saving it, or are you
li-
just blowing it out and then you want me to, you know, that's
listen. Let me tell you how this is actually going to shake out for a lot of women in the Western world. For some reason, it's weird. Men work more scalable jobs than women do. It just takes longer to scale. Women, because of your college education and you went to college, some of you have friends that are in high positions. They promote you over people. All of that. You will see a lot of situations at 35, 33 years old, marital age, where the women actually makes more than the guy. The reason why I would easily say to a woman that doesn't matter. Two reasons. You're not going to out earn him throughout the entirety of your marriage if you get married right then. Throughout the entirety of your marriage, you will not out earn him. That's a fact. He will work more hours than you. He will do whatever it takes whenever you take breaks. So I really applaud the ladies, and I want to give a shout out to the ladies that understand how this math works. You went to college, you work a job that they just gave you what you gave you got put on. Your friend works for JP Morgan Chase. Great. That is actually the world women built for themselves. Everything you asked for, you got, right? And that's actually, unfortunately, to the detriment of men. Every time a woman gets a job, a man don't get one. Women need to understand that. Y'all took every administrative job. Every single one. Men got to go find other stuff to do. They got to go work in solar. They got to work in electric energy, because where women aren't. Because everywhere women are, women dominate. So any woman that's making 150, I'm telling you right now, if I was a woman making 150, give me a dude with 75. We 225 now. That's less than 5% or something like that of American households. We 225. What are you trying to do? What business are you trying to start? I'm going to get it while the getting's good. Give me 10 years. We're going to take this money. We're going to invest. Then you're going to take over, because I'm not going to out earn you the entirety of my life. That's the way women need to be thinking. Everything you have, the people who do this well, me, my wife, my cousins, everyone, we don't keep score. We get it while the getting is good. I have not like a bunch of millionaires in my family, and the woman is the doctor, right? Not the man. The woman is the doctor. They just hustle, 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 hustle. Got grown kids. They hustle, hustle, hustle. The whole fam got money wherever you need it. They did not keep score about where that money came from. And that's what that woman is unfortunately doing. Telling a man who don't got shit that he has to finance her lifestyle. It's crazy.
So
Well said,
okay,
Mike.
so, yeah, so I agree, right? In theory, that makes a whole lot of sense, and I understand, like Mike, in your family, that's in practice. But the problem with Western society is that women aren't trained to think like that. Women are trained to think that if you build a man up, he's going to leave you for a better, younger model of yourself, right? And with that kind of scarcity mentality, they come up with this like hard exterior to essentially say like, no, I want a man that's ready made because this is a sure thing. But that comes with that same mentality of like, well, you know, I'm just what you were saying earlier. I'm just gonna rack up the bill, and he's gonna fit it. He's gonna fit the bill every time, right? Without understanding that a man like that is okay providing luxury, but at the same time, you have to be the kind of woman who's willing to put in the work on the household front, not just providing femininity. Like you got to be able to hold your weight in the relationship in whatever way that he requires it. But we're not getting it on this end. We're not getting it on this end. And we're seeing people continue to stay single and still try to maintain their standards. Like the dots just aren't finding themselves connected.
You know what else is
Um,
crazy? Let me just say that. You know what else is crazy? I'm not here telling women that they can't have what they want. You can absolutely get a dude like that. If you are willing to date a man 10 to 20 years older than you can have everything you want. The problem is that you want to date a man in your social age group, like he's actually supposed to make $100,000 more than you per year. To me, it's the weirdest thing ever. Go get that dude that you used to call Unc. All right, go get him. Let him know you a grown woman now. Okay, he been driving trucks for 20 years. He owned 3 of his own. He got his own owner operator company. All right, go get that dude. Leave us dudes alone. we're progressing along just fine. In fact, I'm past where I need to be at 36 years old because ain't nobody rush me. All right, go get a dude older than you and leave us alone. We doing just fine. Y'all got the floor.
I just wanted to add to what everybody was saying. I wanted to say first that I think a lot of women have this misconception that what they're doing as regular adults is something that they should get a prize for, or that, is something more than what a man should do. And it's just you're supposed to have your own car. You're supposed to have your own, place to live. You're supposed to have these things. So I think that when we try and use that to one up men, it's not really a one up, because, that's things we're supposed to have established as adults. And then to just to trigger Mike's point, I 100% advocate for being with the older men, especially if you think that if you want some man that makes a certain amount of money. I go for the older men because they want younger women anyway. So go for it.
Trigger, you're encouraging younger women to get with older men?
I'm
Is that what?
absolutely encouraging it.
So you don't think they're considered gold diggers? Because some people will be
no. But you listen. You had to hear me on my show.
I want my life set up.
I'm very big on history. So somebody asked me, "Well, are you going to let a 31-year-old man marry your 19-year-old daughter?" I said, "No, I wouldn't. I would let a 33-year-old man marry my 21-year-old daughter. I absolutely would. I would let her finish school because I sent her there for that. So he can come ask for her hand. I'm going to say, can you wait 2 years? He's going to say yes. She's going to graduate and they can absolutely get married. That is actually setting her up better in life. Let's say that dude is a doctor, or he took a liking to her during her internship at the hospital, whatever. Those type of situations. You can absolutely marry my daughter. Take her off this volatile ass market.
You don't think it's
She's the best
no
she's ever going to
predatory
look.
type energy going on there?
Say it again.
You don't think it's predator kind
No,
of energy?
so that is actually, listen, we got to understand that
I'm just asking.
That has been, what is the word I'm looking for? It's helped me. Socially programmed into us. That is traditionally, a woman is grown. Literally by 18, she's really grown as far as her body type is concerned.
You're saying that because back in the go ahead.
No, hang on. Let me bridge the gap because I think it's important to have this conversation. Trigger Mike can say that because he's a present father, right? It's different when the father isn't there or isn't willing to vet, right? The father is the one who sits there and susses out and decides, is this man going to actually take care of my daughter, or is this man going to run my daughter through the mud, right? Because until that man signs that marriage contract, that daughter is still under his covering, right? I think the situation is very different when there are now multiple generations where the father is not in the household or is not present and isn't able to vet that man. If that woman is making that decision on her own without a father figure, then the likelihood of it being a power imbalance is more likely to happen. But if there is a man who is an actual man who is filling that role, who is vetting the person who's going to take this young lady as a wife, the likelihood of that drops significantly.
And can I say this, Cameron? Because like Enoch said, I am a father. And let me tell you what I don't want to happen. Y'all, I think it was last week. Was it not on this show? Maybe it was this show. I am vetting thoroughly so the burdens of my daughter don't end up on me. I want that guy who has money already, who has life insurance already, who has a 401k. These are the discussions we're going to have. There are things at 31 or 30 whatever years old that I expect him to have that I had, right? So if he has all of these things and he wants to marry my 21-year-old daughter, please take her off this volatile ass market, because anything she does, and please understand this, anything she does between the age of, I think it's 19 and 30, will affect her for the rest of her life and her eligibility to be married.
How much does he need to be making? Because I know you say he needs to make money. He needs to have what's the range?
For me, it's not exactly money. People's net worth is really what I'm looking at. If we're talking about 401k, you can take a mental note. And he's been let's say military, for instance. He did 8 years in the military. Now he has a government job We talk about 401k. You got life insurance. You can actually take the cost of these things and say, okay, this person has assets that are actually going to grow because he started at 18, right? So it's really that. So if he tells me he makes $75,000 to $90,000 a year and he's 30 something years old, but I'm like, he's been in the workforce for 15, 16 years. Like, that's what matters to me, actually. I don't even like these people who get money quick. I don't like guys in oil and gas. It's the most cyclical shit I've ever seen. Here in Houston, there are dudes out here driving Ferraris and they get them repossessed every day because they were in oil and gas for 3 years doing underwater bookkeeping because their homie hooked them up, and then they lose the job and can't get another one for 5 years. I don't even want that. I want to do with an established pattern who's in a established hierarchical pay structure. That's what I want. If he's 16 years into the military and he about to retire at 20, get that dude. I'm all over that. That's what I want.
I have a question to Inez's point, like I guess to everyone. Do you feel like if she doesn't have a father in her life, but she, I guess, is on a path or on a trajectory to, I guess has her head on right, is on a good trajectory, do you feel like she can, advocate and vet for herself enough an older man that is, on that same mental capacity as her?
No, I don't think so. I think that women have it's in our nature, right, to lead with our emotions. Not to say that every woman is irrational and that her emotions are erratic. Some women have a really good grasp and grounding of and control over their emotions. But we do lead with our emotions, and that is an asset in a lot of situations. However, in terms of picking a partner, it's not. Because what that does is it opens us up to being susceptible to game without any defense mechanism. I think whether you have an active father or an active father figure, either or, I think in this situation, in terms of vetting another man, it really is, and Trigger Mike and I have had this conversation, a man is really the only defense mechanism for another man. Like there really isn't another way to deal with that. I think that you need to find a man that you trust in a father figure role if your father is not active to help you vet out these men. And I think that'll really change the trajectory of what dating and courtship looks like.
Okay.
Add on go ahead.
Sorry. Not to, okay, just like, what if she doesn't have any father figures, like any male figures, there's a handful of, I'm really interested to know, like,
All right,
no father
so
figures at all, no grandpas,
this
no
is actually
uncles.
not a new occurrence. This actually, you got to understand that the reason there's been traditionally more women on earth entirely than men is because men die in a myriad of ways. They go to war, they die in factories, they die at work, all this type of stuff. There are whole communities where there are just boys where the father is not present. And the one thing women have traditionally done is to say, we can't raise them into who they're supposed to be. Go find. This is something I say about the burden that's put on black men to mentor everybody's kid. The one thing I can't do is go out there and find them because they're just going to fucking rob me or spit in my face. Bring them to me. Their mothers need to bring them to me. Take your boy take your girl or whoever to a pastor, to someone and in a family and say, this is my daughter. I don't want her to make certain mistakes. Take her under your guidance. Somebody. It's just whether you want to approach them or not, whether it's a pastor, whether it's getting involved in the church group. Not saying all of these things are good things, but these are things mothers can vet and supervise for themselves. You can go sit in church with your daughter while she attends that church group, right, to make sure she's safe. But you're putting her around men who are going to speak sense to her. Do you realize all of this went astray when, well, basically men left the church, but people in general left the church, right? There used to be places where you could congregate with like-minded people who were living in a certain way. That's one of the best ways to do it. The church kind of saved the community no matter what state it was in, right? Whether fathers were there or not. But go ahead.
Yeah, so like with men leaving whatever religious establishment, right? They're still, like, these girls are still going to school, they're still going to work. There are still male figures that still show up. You still got neighbors, your friends' parents. There are still men around you, and it's kind of like how we talk about that mentality between the women who think there aren't any good men and the women who think the good men are plentiful. They see the world very differently. Father figures are plentiful. right? They really are. The statistics back that up, that men do tend to participate and show up in that way, right? But if you're outside of those statistics, there's no way there isn't anybody around you. Even if you have a girlfriend, an auntie, somebody who's married, who's willing to say, like, okay, let me loop my husband into this to help you out. Like, there are so many other ways. You might have to get a little bit more creative and think outside of the box, but there are always men out there who are willing to do the job.
I agree. And I'm going to share a personal story with you guys because why not? We love personal stories, right? So a few years ago, I was courting with a man, and he was like, I'm really interested in moving this forward. He wants to get engaged, he wants to move in together, he wants to do all of these things. And I'm like, oh, okay, that sounds good. But of course, you have to go through my meeting my family, the males in my family, going out to dinner, having a conversation, talking to them, and we'll see how that goes. That's what he had to get through in order to even talk about moving to a next step. He said, yeah, sure. Okay, that's not a problem. Okay, I could do that, right? All right, I want to say after that conversation, I didn't hear from him the rest of the week and then disappeared. Poof, disappeared. Like after that, after he agreed to do this whole meeting, he disappeared. So the point of me bringing this up is to say men are an extra layer of protection for women, period. You guys are walking around with zero protection. And then we're wondering why so many negative things are happening and we have all these negative and bad experiences is because we're not using the protection that naturally we are to have. So I like telling this story because I promise a lot of women wouldn't have the experiences that they have had if they use that layer of protection. If it's not your father, it could be your brother, your uncle, cousin, neighbor, grandfather, somebody in your family that's an older male, hopefully married, that you respect their leadership. You
Yeah,
have to use you have oh I know, Mike, you wanted I know you
yeah.
want to say something, but you have to utilize all of these things when you're trying to get into a marriage with somebody. Like there's no way you could do that by yourself. So stop kidding yourself. And that's why we are making all of these pitfall mistakes that can be avoided if you just have that layer of protection. Most men can't even get through layer 1, and that should be your layer 1. Go ahead, Mike.
Yes. So you seen my episode Dating Ruined Everything. And I said those exact words. I said most men won't even want to get your family involved early. All right. I've always actually been the beloved boyfriend. Um, make sure my wife sleeps so she don't hear this. I encountered one of my old girlfriend's moms in the airport, and she didn't know I was engaged at the time, and was like I saw her at the bar where I went to get some breakfast, and we talked. Then I was like, "Have a great day." Did not know she followed me to my gate. I thought she was on the same flight. She wasn't. Just to talk to me again and say, and I'm like, okay, what is this about? And at the end of the conversation, can can you just give my daughter a call? Right. So the reason I say that is that her husband, when I was in college, I went to go meet her family. I've always been big on that. I'm a big family person. She didn't know, my ex-girlfriend didn't know that her father pulled me to the side and said, "You seem like a good guy. You're actually very personable. If your intentions are good, make sure I see you again. If your intentions aren't good, make sure I don't see you again." Yo, when I look, this guy was short, like just a short of a guy. That feeling that went through my chest, like this dude just checked me in his house, like drinking a beer, then tapped beers with me and walked away. Woo, that's what dads can do. That fear, I told you, most men will not come to your dad's face, right, and just chop it up and all that if their intentions are purely to hit. Get your family involved early. It is your greatest defense mechanism. You have people that have been in relationships. I know people that have broken up with someone at a barbecue because that person was there to meet the family, and dude was flirting with his sisters. You see what I'm saying? Like you have to bring people around your family. It's such an easy way to see if the relationship should stop or progress. I yield the floor.
Dang, that's good. And people definitely should bring it home to the family, because your family's always gonna keep it raw with you, even if they're toxic. But Court, hello, welcome. Did you have anything you wanted to add to this topic?
No, actually, I don't. I'm sorry. I came in late, so I'm just trying to get an understanding of what's going on right now.
Oh,
But
the
good
question.
evening.
Good evening. Yeah, we were just talking about couples date. I'm like people dating outside of their means. I'm not sure if you saw the
Okay.
video, but
No, I didn't.
all right, cool. Does anybody have anything else they want to add before we get to the next topic? We good. Enos, you look like you wanna. I felt it. I felt that. Go ahead.
Okay, so I have a bone to pick a little bit with like this rhetoric of like, you know, if a woman doesn't bring X amount of money, then she doesn't qualify for this kind of man. And I think we need to like publicly call it out for what it is. It's eliminating competition, right? Because men have like time and time again have exhausted themselves telling women we don't care if or how much money you bring to the table, right? Like men have literally, they're so tired of saying it that most of them just stop saying it. It's women that continue this rhetoric. It's women that are always saying, well, if you can't meet him halfway, then like you don't qualify for this man. I think we just need to X the conversation. Just say that like you're not equipped to take on the competition of what the dating market looks like. The fact that there are now like this man has access, the man you want has access to every woman, and you're looking for a very specific kind of man. So you don't like your market is very limited. I think it's so weird to tell women, for women to tell women, right? If you don't make enough money, you don't qualify for this man. So I just wanted to like call that part of the conversation out.
On facts.
All facts.
I feel like I'm
Damn.
missing something. Are you saying that women shouldn't say that they have to make a certain amount of money to be with a certain kind of guy? Is that what you're saying?
That's exactly what I'm saying. Because
I don't hear that too often.
so I think it's like it's nuanced, right? Like the girl in the video was essentially saying, like, you know, if y'all can't run the bag together, then like understand that that man is not for you, kind of thing, right? She was basically saying like these broke girls shouldn't have access to men like that. And I think that's ridiculous because if she understands how to manage money, if she is the type of woman that man is looking for, he's still gonna pick her over the girl who makes just as much as him.
That's
Because
true.
right, because men have always stated very clearly in the majority, again, not all of them, like we don't care how much a woman makes. Right. And so if men are constantly saying this, who are we as women to then be like, but we're gonna say you can't do this? I think that it's wild. It's trying to diminish the competition so that you have a competitive edge. And it's really catty.
But do you ever feel like go ahead, Cam. Go ahead.
Sorry, I was gonna say I think that a lot of women have like a confusion between like the income that they bring versus like the class of woman that these men are attracted to. So I think that's where the confusion is like I don't think it's more so the income of the woman. I think it's more so the class and how she presents herself. And I think that, you know, for some reason it seems like synonymous that a woman with a lower income might not present herself as classy as a woman with a higher income, or something like that. But I think that it's more so that these men are looking for women with class and not more so, you know, a woman with, you know, whatever paycheck that women feel like, you know, would get you in the door with those type of men.
But is it safe to say that some women just want a certain caliber guy to pull her out the trenches? I'm serious. Like some women don't even qualify for the type of guy that they want. And
Yeah,
then
no, that's
you know what I
true.
mean? So
Because
that's my only thing. Like if you can pull it, then
Yeah.
great. But some women that, you know, talk certain kind of ways, like, I mean, you really think it's gonna be you who gets picked? I mean, I'm not trying to be mean, but I'm just saying, like,
Yeah. I mean,
you just
that's
have
like
to know what
kind
you
of,
qualify for.
yeah, and that's kind of equivalent to the women who have children and they say like, oh, I don't want to, you know, be with a man that have kids. And it's like, but you have
I've heard
kids.
that before too, and that's wild to me.
That's
I'd be like,
wild. Yeah. I'm like,
what?
come on
I
now.
definitely think that goes on with like dating on your level. I think a lot of women have that confused too. Like if you have children, personally, I think that you should be dating someone with children, because I personally don't have children, so I'm not going to put myself in a position to date someone with children. Me personally, just because I don't
Yeah.
want to put myself in a position that I know is either going to be a co-parent or I'm going to be a step parent, just for me personally. But I know there are some people that do that, and I think that's great. But just me personally, I can't see myself being a step parent or a co-parent with someone. So I don't want to put myself in a position or even, open myself up to a relationship with a man that has a child, bond with that child, and then, things not work out. So I think that women, that's a part of dating on your level, is possibly either if you want children or you're okay with co-parenting, or, you have children, you need to be with somebody that also too has kids.
I have a question for you, Cam, when you just said that. So would it make a difference? Just curious. If this man was a 7-figure man, divorced man, one child, does that make a difference? Look at Mike's face, first of all.
I mean,
He waiting for you to lie.
I personally, again, I don't want to be in a position to co-parent or step parent. So I don't want to be with a man with children, but that is me. But again, if the kid is out the house or something like that, maybe I would think about it. But just thinking about my internal, like my standards, I can't be with a man with kids.
He calling you out.
Pause.
Mike's saying you cap.
We can't go no further.
I don't have no
Listen.
kids. So I can't.
We can't go
Listen.
no further till we get past this right here.
I mean,
I'll take it.
ladies,
I'll take him. I'll take him.
it's not that we're being arrogant as men, but I gotta let y'all know. I gotta let y'all in on a little secret. We do this thing where we play a game about all the girls that we've gotten that said they would never date us, they would never do something with us, and it's hilarious. It's almost like a part of a challenge. Listen, when a man, especially a dude with money like that, so I got a lot of friends that, really just got money, right? Like I said, a lot of guys out here working oil and gas. There are children here in Houston. There are children of Nigerian oil millionaires and stuff like that, that when they get their first Bentley or Bentley GT, the way they pull up on that girl that said they wouldn't date them. If I can only tell you, you seen the videos, okay? Well, wait, what was your name again? Olu? What was it? Listen, it's in you to get broken down by that car. It's in you to get broken down by that pomp and circumstance. All right, you're not going to hold it together. Okay. Well, I'll go on one date with them, and the next thing you know, your belly is popped out. Look, I know you say you won't do it, but I'm calling cap. If you think she capping, put a 1 in the chat. She won't date a millionaire.
No, because they all think but I just want my first kid to be your first kid. I want to be married with the man that I have my first child with. That's just.
And I want world peace.
I hear what you're saying, Cam. But I think that, so here's the thing. I think that there's a threshold, right? If that guy is everything you're looking for, he's kind, he's generous, he's thoughtful, he's protective, he's literally like your dream guy, and he has this stuff, the likelihood of you choosing him is still pretty high, right? And I think that's where men righteously call cap, right? Because women will make concessions based on like the value that they perceive in that man. Yes, you want to be Mike is trolling tonight. And I don't think that there's anything wrong with saying that you would make a concession if this was like your perfect person and he came with a child and was divorced. I think that like if I'm honest, I used to be apprehensive about like what I would concede on, because then I was worried that like all of my concessions would come forward and be like, I'm your perfect person. That in reality, like there's still safeguards by having other men to vet, by like standing on your morals and laurels and all of this stuff, right? So I think it's okay to admit like the concessions you're willing to make.
Yeah, I also want to say too, to balance this question, like I would have to ask, is that man willing to marry me? Because I want marriage. And so I think that if he's divorced and I want, an older man, I would assume that a divorced older man wouldn't want to get married again if he's with me, So I think that's something that I would have to take into consideration too is that I want to be married, you know. So if I was to make that concession, it would have to be that, and I wouldn't think that a 7-figure older man would want to get married again, especially to, you know, somebody in their 20s. So that would
And Cam,
probably.
I will also say, you look pretty young, I guess. So you look pretty young. What I can tell you from experience is that cross that 30s threshold, and your opinion, your yeah, it's gonna change. It's gonna change. I have
I
some
don't plan
family.
on being on the market past 25. So
God damn, how old? You see? Never mind. Never mind. It all makes sense now. It all makes sense.
All right. Does anybody else have anything else to add before we slide into the next topic? No, we're good. Okay. Next topic is this one to me is kind of juicy. It's called couples living in separate rooms. So I'm about to roll this clip and just tell me what y'all think.
All right, man. So a lot of people be asking me, because I have my own room, my own bathroom, my own closet. I'm also in a relationship, and my wife has her own room, her own closet, and her own bathroom. So we'll see. Hey,
So what are your thoughts? Like you being in a relationship with a man or woman, trigger, and you guys sleeping in separate rooms or having your own spaces. Is that acceptable? Is it
They
not? Is it
don't,
weird?
they don't like each other.
I need you to rephrase that because you
Are
just
they
said
married?
man or woman trigger. First
No,
off,
okay, no. I was saying man or woman because you're a guy up here, so I didn't want to just say I was
oh, okay, it
for the
would be a
whole
woman.
audience.
So
No.
we're
I
gonna
was
make that
saying man to
perfectly
the
clear.
women and or woman to you.
I know, I
Clear
know.
that up.
So, like again, you got to look at history. This is not uncommon, actually. I'm gonna tell you, maybe I used to be a real romantic person, right? I'd say there's no way I'm not sleeping in the bed with my wife. Go ahead and have 2 kids and see if you still have that um outlook. It is actually not comfortable at all. All right. My babies come seek their mama in bed. It's the worst place for me to be for my back. Okay. I get military disability for these back problems. And yet I got a kid kicking me, a little ass 40-pound kid kicking me off my own damn bed. I actually believe, hear me out on this. You will be happier as a couple in separate rooms. I'm telling you, I'm not trolling. The
Is
ability, there are certain things in the way I'm thinking about this now. I'm compartmentalizing, I guess, what we call happiness, but fulfillment in relationships. Lack of sleep, especially when it's like due to your children or irritability and all of that, it can ruin your day. Like your day could be ruined in the morning simply because of that. You woke up wrong, you didn't get enough sleep, your partner took the covers. Um, Partners make the bed hot as hell. Like these pictures where they show two people cuddling all night, that is not what the hell it looks like.
yeah,
I got
no.
headbutted by my wife and almost wanted to Stone Cold Steve Austin her ass one night. Like, you know, when you see that white light, like you got punched, like punched in the face. Imagine that happening to you in your sleep. Boom. So it's not a pleasant experience. You do have to learn to sleep with your spouse. But back in the days, the only reason we even sleep in the same bed with our spouse is so they could market king size beds. People don't even know that. People used to sleep in separate rooms or in separate beds in the same room. It is not unheard of. It's 100% a thing. And I actually believe people will be happier. They'll get better sleep, be less irritable, inability for your children to kick you and all that type of stuff if you do it. So I say some people should try it.
I hear that. So go ahead. Just give me 1 second.
I wanted to say something, but
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I think it's maybe we needed a little bit more of like background or more info from them,
That
because we don't know, right? But I agree with Mike, when you've been in the marriage for quite some time, but this is not common in the first 2-3 years, especially if
yeah.
there's no kids. That's not normal. So we kind of have to define when it's normal and when it's not normal. I heard him saying that's his wife. And I don't think he's complaining. He's just saying that's his experience. So he doesn't sound like he's bothered. So I don't know. In my opinion, he sounds comfortable with the decision. But I think it's normal, yes, from a certain point from their marriage on, especially when you have kids, that's for sure. But the first few years it's not. Well, I've never seen it in the first few years.
Yeah, no, for me, it can't happen in my house. Like, and I have like 3 small children, so I understand what you're saying, Mike. Like, I got a 2-month-old, and it just trickle up from there. So I get it. However, it's a such thing called sleep train. So you got to put them babies in their bed so you can have that, quality time with your significant other. And that's what I had to learn with the third child. Because you are uncomfortable. You have a 20-pound baby kicking in your back, but once you switch it up a little bit, I feel like, you do need that intimate time with your significant other. And that's where, I personally find that time with my significant other, because we're all doing some, during the day. So having that, getting to bed together, touching his arms, and he rubbing through, like, that intimate stuff. Like
Y'all are
I
romantic.
have to have that. I have to feel that every night. And I get he can
Oh,
have his man cave, but to sleep in it, that, like, I'm gonna just feel some type of way. I'm
hell
just too
yes.
clingy. I'm too clingy. I'm a clingy woman. Like, I need my man right there, literally.
I was gonna say, are you a leg locker? Are you a leg locker? Are you the one of those? Yeah. Okay.
No
That's what
comment.
it is. It's the leg lockers that made this situation impossible for men who want to escape and go sleep in their man cave. I'm just saying. But
See,
I get it.
I think it's okay. Like, so I've never been in like a super long relationship like that, and enough to want to be away, because I think in the early stages of things, or the first few years, naturally you're going to want to be beside your significant other. But I feel like it, like Trigger said, like as time goes on, when things change, like if he were to want his own space to do his own thing, I don't think that that's something I'll fuss about. But it can't be like all the time. It can't be like every single night we're sleeping and stuff. But like if you need your own time a few nights, then that's all right. But that's like
But
later on in the
why?
year.
Like, I would be like,
So
why you don't want to lay with by me? You
so
know what I mean? Like, why?
this is real. This is actually really funny that y'all are putting it off on
Because
the
you're
women.
making it about you. Like that's the thing. Like I think sometimes women make it about us. Like, oh, he doesn't want to lay with us. It's me. Like, no, he might just want his own space for
No,
his
no.
own
What I'm
reason.
saying, Kurt, is it's funny y'all making it about the men. Women are starting to speak up and saying they want their own space. You got to read these blogs and stuff. Moms are like, yo, go sleep in your man cave. I'm telling you, like, well, in husbands and wives groups that I'm in, it's the wife that's like, boy, I had the bed by myself while you were away on that work trip, and I could do that. We could just do that.
Right.
Like, it's the women
Yeah.
that want.
So I think it depends on the lifestyle, right? I think women who have access to their partner frequently are very okay with, having separate beds. That doesn't mean you sleep in separate beds every single night, but it's just that, if he wants to, he can. And if he wants to hop in your bed or you hop in his, then those are options. But I think it's the women that their partners out of the household for most of the time, or is traveling or whatever, who don't have that level of like connectivity and security in the relationship, because insecurity is also a thing, that tend to not be okay with space, right? Like we talk about it all the time. So I grew up in a pretty traditional household where we were taught from a very young age that a little bit of like mystery mystique, no matter how long you've been married, will keep the marriage going. And sometimes like having separate rooms can absolutely cause, because you would sleep in your nighttime mask, you put your hair up in a bun and not feel any sort of ways, like, you know what I mean? Like there's that freedom to still have the self-care without worrying about how you're presenting yourself to your husband. That gives you a little bit of freedom, right? And I think even men too, like when you respect a man's space, right? I think that adds so much more admiration from him to you, that if that means sleep time is space, then like I think there's that creates a more significant bond, right? And I think women are taught like there's so much competition and this and that like we tend to cling on to men way tighter than we need to, that if we just loosen that grip, we'll realize that like that man really isn't going to go anywhere if he really rocks with you, because there's not a lot of women that are going to be like, yeah, it's cool, like, you know, you can go just sleep in your own space, and you just like I my affection, my role, my duties aren't going to change because, you know, from time to time you want to sleep in your own space.
Yeah, I just wanted to like add to the topic and say like the only marriage that I grew up seeing was my great grandparents, and they actually slept together in their bed their entire marriage, but they also had an extra bedroom that they used just in case, you know, one of them was like having a moment and just, you know, didn't want to be bothered, because, you know, once they get older they kind of get annoyed with each other and kind of really don't want to be around each other. So I think for me personally, in my future marriage, I would like to have, you know, the idea of like a man cave and, you know, my own space, so that if you do feel like you want to have that time, you can go do that in the man cave, and I can have my space, you know, in my space or my area, you know. Yeah.
The whole house is your space. Ain't no she shed. It's only the man cave. Go to the kitchen, go to the room. Everything is decorated and modeled by you. The whole house is your space. Don't have me getting 400 extra square feet for your own space. It's not necessary.
Yeah, see, this is a tough one, because if I'm speaking about personally, I like the option. Okay, because I like to do my meditations, my affirmations. I mean, you know, and my like, I like my space. I
What is
just
the
like
bedroom
it.
floor?
Balance likes a balance in her life.
The game room
Exactly.
floor? The media room floor?
Yes, but let's say I want to play like my hurt sounds while I'm sleeping, and my partner doesn't want to hear that crap. It's like, you know, sometimes it's like sometimes we could be together, and sometimes I'll see you in the morning. Like I I like the option of having a choice. I don't want it to be like every night we have to be together or else. It's like I'm up the, you know, I'm just up the hallway like tonight. Like I
And
think it's
you
okay.
won't get in your feelings if he decides to be the one like, tonight we're not sleeping together. I'm gonna go on my, you're cool with it. Because sometimes women get
That
offended.
happens.
Like if a man decides to do something else, you're like, oh, no, why, baby?
Do y'all think women get offended like when their man is on the game or like in the man cave or wants to be alone? Do you think women get offended because like you just don't have a hobby of your own to like occupy
Hell
your own?
yeah. They want to
Like
be up his, they
not
want to
me.
be up his ass the whole time. And then sometimes women are so petty to a point where they'll be in their phone doing their own thing, minding their own business. He'll be playing the game. But once she's done scrolling through her phone and do everything she's done doing, she'll be like, why aren't you talking to me? Why aren't you looking at me? He's like, bitch, like you was just doing your thing and now you want all my attention. So women are petty like that. Like, you know, when I'm ready to have your in attention, then you need to be ready for me too. So it's like,
Yeah, I'm a secure partner. Like I'm not worried about like if he's sleeping downstairs. Like, okay, have fun. Like go with your friends, go to the game, enjoy
Yeah.
yourself. Hey, have time to miss me, okay? That's what women need to learn
Yeah.
how to do. Okay.
But that's all cool. Like you go to your man cave, you go hang out with the boys, but at the end of the day, like we need to come together and, you know, spend that quality time together. Like I just don't agree with, you know, you go to your room and I go to my room. Like, because to be honest, most of the day, most of the 24 hours, we're out doing something, you know, taking care of kids, working. So at least have that quality time together, you know, to rekindle the light. So that's just, I don't know.
All right, Court. So
she like,
how about different beds in the same room?
she gonna crawl to
She
No,
his
I
can't
bed.
need
do
What
it.
to
you
feel
She
the
mean?
can't do it.
warmth.
So now
No,
you're
I
gonna end up in
Push them
my full
together.
size bed, my twin ass bed. You gonna end up there?
Just a twin. She gonna be laying on
Is this
top of you.
college? Is this college again?
I can't do it. No, I can't. Maybe it's just I don't
Oh,
know. Maybe my husband feel like you guys. He would prefer his separate bed, but for me, like I'm like no, sir.
nah, I feel guilty. I could sleep in the bed, like, you know, I'm down for it. The thing is that first few times you actually realize I slept throughout the entire night. I got up and my back didn't hurt. When you feel that and you're like, there's no way I like sleeping alone better. There's no way. Like when you get that happening a few times, you might change your mind.
So at what point is it too much? Like at what point, and I'm asking you, Trigger, because you've been married for a while. At what point is it like, is it an everyday thing, or is it a like sometimes we sleep together, sometimes we don't? Like,
No, so the weird part, I think when your children are like, so my children are, well, my boy's about to turn 4, so about to be 4 and 5. Um, it depends. It literally just depends. Nothing is on schedule anymore, right? So I like my quiet time. So if I want any quiet time to think, to write my episode for the next day, it's literally happening at midnight to 2 a.m. So I'm probably gonna sleep right there in the game room where I'm at, right? So and then I'll wake up like, whoo, and I've pulled out the covers and my own little pillow. I was in the same spot, not on my stomach, which is bad for me to sleep. You know, I think it'll get too much if I get into a routine and I realize I ain't slept with my wife in like 2 weeks. Like, oh damn, I ain't
that's what I'm
even,
saying. Because there's some men who would do it like you. They don't want the kids foot in their back while they sleep. It's more
yeah,
comfortable for them to have their own space. And then there's some men who just may not be feeling their wife anymore. And maybe they do want their own distance for another reason. So, like, at what point should a woman feel like it's alarming? Like, dang, he's
yeah.
just not fucking with me anymore, you know?
I will say when he's purposely creating the distance. So if I become selfish and start liking my own space more than realizing that I do actually need to create the intimate connection, like she does want to put her booty on me when she goes to sleep. She does want to leg lock me. Ooh, that shit's uncomfortable too. I ain't gonna lie. She does want to leg lock me, right? So when I start preferring my own space more than that, then yeah, it can definitely be a problem.
So I'm going to add this too. Like, if there's no, like, if that intimacy isn't being compensated anywhere else, like, if there isn't like that quality time, that physical touch, if that's being stripped away in like the rest of the day, that's also like the point to be like, this is concerning, right? Like, if it's just like, hey, like, my back hurts or these kids or whatever, or I just like my space at night, or it gets too hot sleeping in a bed with somebody else, like whatever it is, like if they're not compensating for that any other time, that's really the point where a woman should be concerned.
Saida, did you have anything you wanted to add to this?
Well, I agree with something that Cam said, that I wanted to add a little bit more on the fact that people, or women especially, don't have their own hobbies, and that's why they're like so jealous about their time that they're spending, because they have been in the house the whole day, and when the man comes home, like obviously that's kind of becomes their hobby. The women need to stop doing that, because and also another thing is like they need to start having these conversations earlier in the relationship. I told my boyfriend, oopsie, I usually keep my relationship private. Well, I told him, like, hey, I go to the gym, I go to swimming classes every day, Monday through Friday. So I make time for it right now, and I'm gonna still do it, because it's not fair that you expect me to be in a certain physical condition if that's what he wants me to continue to be, and I'm gonna stop doing these things. I have a specific diet that I try to follow as much as I can, but that doesn't mean that I'm not going to cook for him what he likes and all those things. So I think those conversations are needed earlier. And I specifically ask him, what are your hobbies? I need you to have a hobby. I need you to like have an activity that you can do, because it's not just us. I've been in that position before. So it's essential for us to miss each other, to not fall on, in that. And then we need to have an activity that we do together as well. But people don't address these things that are important earlier in their relationship. People don't talk about these things. They're more concerned about who's making money and where are you going to take me to dinner. And I'm like, come on, man. Like, we don't go to dinner. Well, I personally don't expect to go to have dinner once a week. Not even. It's just me. But people are concerned about things that are not very common because they think that everything ends in the marriage, when in the ceremony, but that's when it starts. So they should be talking about those things that happens after you say I do. That's it.
You talking about they should have the conversation about if they're gonna sleep in the same room together?
Yes, I told
But
him,
what
look,
if
I
that's
told
something
him
that
specifically, look, when I fall asleep, I fall asleep like an L. I put like a pillow like this, like an L. So I'm like on my tummy, but it's kind of like sideways. It's a weird thing, but I cannot fall asleep if I'm not like that. So
AKA take up the whole damn bed person right here. This is the
no, no,
person.
no. I don't even move. That's the thing. I don't. I'm not. I'm the type of person that doesn't move. But also, something you mentioned, they make the bed hot, and I'm like, oh, it's annoying. So I need my space in the bed. Like I need my own cover. I only cover my, half of my body. My feet are outside. So you have to talk about these things.
Number two. Now,
definitely.
listen, hold on, because she did it. She did the thing. She perfectly labeled it out the way I'm telling you this works. She sleeps in an L and cover half of her body. What does the covers look like? Y'all tell me. So I'm supposed to sleep with that part. What do the covers look like?
No,
They not on me. That's all I'm
so
gonna tell
this
you.
is a solution oriented show. I'm gonna have two covers. My cover and his cover. I don't need that. Like that's simple.
You know the funny
I'm not
part?
gonna take his pillows. I'm using my pillow.
She
But I
always wants
told
to
him
take the
this is the way
comfortable
I
cover.
fall asleep. You see, I'm communicating before it happens, so we don't have problems. I told him I don't like when someone is kind of like putting their leg and their arm.
But what if that's a conversation you can't have early because it's a situation where you don't know until you get there, like after you have a few kids, after you've been married for a few years, and then these things occur, and you're like, oh, I might want to create a little bit of distance for my own sanity.
It's time to
Like
upgrade
some
the
things
house.
you can't talk about.
Time
Are
What?
we
to upgrade
really? Sorry, go ahead, Cam.
Sorry, I was just saying it's time that we get an extra bedroom then, so you can make the man cave and get your extra space. We gotta get you your room.
Now she wants to spend $1,000 a month in extra mortgage. You see how this stuff works? You see how people just be talking like this,
So
like
you would
life
rather
don't
him have
cost
a
money?
man cave outside of other than like
Do you
sleeping in
see
a
how
different
people just
room,
be talking like life don't cost money? All right, this is crazy.
or both?
I
Say that
mean,
again.
if we're gonna have a multi-bedroom home, I would assume one of the homes in the house would be one of the rooms in the house would be the man cave. So I mean, yeah, you could sleep in. I mean, I'm assuming you could sleep wherever you want in the house, but
Yeah,
I mean, he might fall asleep in his man cave because that's where all his comfortable stuff is. You know, the TV, whatever entertainment he has. So I would assume he would fall asleep in the man cave.
earthquake. Oh, shut.
I
So
just want. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
thanks, Balance. I was just gonna say to like what you were asking, Curves. Like, are we assuming that like you only need to have one conversation for like forever? Like
Because
people
things
change.
change like every
Yeah, like,
single
I,
every
I
single day.
I don't like I don't do people just like initially have this conversation and that's it? Like we're forever bound to this conversation. Like nobody revisits conversations. Nobody says, "Hey, my feelings around this have changed," or like men saying like we got to pivot this game plan. Like we're adults, right? Like
Mhm.
we grow, we change, circumstances change. Like that warrants revisiting a conversation. Like, hey, listen, like I know 5 years ago I said like, I want to leg lock you every night for the rest of my life, but like, listen, this leg locking is not comfortable anymore. How do you feel? You know what I mean? Like, I don't.
Right.
Why are we in a situation where like we're forever bound to like the one thing that we talked about? I think that's how communication breaks apart, and I think that's how like we grew apart happens, that people just stop talking to each other as things
Mhm.
change.
That's facts.
Yes, you just made
Uh,
a great point. I just want to
Curves.
add. Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead. Super chat. Super chat. I was just reminding you of
Oh yeah,
super chat.
curve
I was
super
gonna
chat.
get to
That's
that once y'all were finished. I was gonna bring
okay.
that up for the
Yeah, go
last
ahead.
topic.
Balance. My fault.
I know you're good. Like I just wanted to add too that I'm not. There's no one way to do things. So I don't want people to watch this and say, "Oh no, you have to sleep in the same bed and you have to sleep separate." Like individual things work for individual people, right? So there's no one way to marriage. There's no one way to relationships. So let everybody do what works for them, and they're not wrong. If that's what fits their relationship, that's cool. If it doesn't fit yours, that's cool on this topic. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's not that big of a deal. This is a small one for me. That's it.
Do you think that there should be like certain basic standards or like guidelines for a marriage? Because I heard you say, like, there's no right way to do it. Everybody can do it their way. But I think as someone who is looking to be married, I think that there should be, some bottom line things that, should happen in a marriage that we should keep in place so that, someone like me can know what to look for and what to, keep up to date in my marriage.
I'm gonna let the married people answer, but I just want to add that I'm speaking specifically to this topic. I think baseline should always be mutual respect, right? Like that's baseline. So that certain things you can't really change. Like you have to have these standards. But we're talking about sleeping. I think that's situational. But I'm gonna let
So
the married
yeah,
people.
Cam, I like where your head's at. I really got to say I like where your head's at because you saying you're young and you're focused on marriage. That's what all girls say, but you asking the right questions. So I really like you. Yeah, you asking the right questions. So there is a standard. I say this all the time. And there's a standard in which the way marriage must work, and it can't really change. What balance is talking about when people say do what works for them, that's a dangerous statement when not specified, right? So I don't think she meant it in the way that where it's dangerous. What it really is that 90% or so of people's marriages, in order for it to function, are the same, right? There are little things that you can do that you try out and test. And, both of you agree upon that may be different, but the totality of your marriage, most of it looks the same. All right. If your husband goes and brings another woman in and be like, this is my new wife now. Sorry, I didn't tell you about it. She's staying in that room. 90% of wives are going to trip and lose their shit over it. All right. That's what we mean. That's not standard. You can't do that. Right. So men have to be accountable. They got to, be emotionally available for their wives. They have to listen to her when she gets mad about him being in a man cave all the time. He has to be like, okay, maybe that's right. I don't agree, but you know what? Like there are standards. There are standards in which this thing is supposed to be done, especially when children are involved, when you own assets and property. Yeah, when you look at, I say this all the time. Yesterday I was at a luncheon, right, for one of my wife's mom's group. All these wives, pretty much, they're the same. They have the same characteristics. They're extremely nurturing, motherly, attentive. Like they have all have the same characteristics. They move like a little band, right? That's because they're wives and mothers. This band looks the same. You might have somebody that plays, one instrument or a little different, but they're all still in the same band. That's the way I'll put it to you.
So, although I'm not married, I still want to yet throw this in. Your obligations are your obligations, right? Like, I think that that's the one thing. Obligation has become such a dirty word. You're obligated to do certain things in a marriage, whether you're a man or a woman. You're obligated to do certain things. The things you are not obligated to do, that's where people really have that conversation about do what works for you, right? You're obligated to be respectful to your husband, right? You're obligated to be protective of your wife and family. You're obligated to do certain things. And so once you're able to differentiate what's an obligation and what's icing on the cake, really the icing on the cake is where you could add a little spice, a little flavor, some sprinkles, some cherries, however you want to dress the cake, right? But the cake still requires certain ingredients. They have to be exact measurements. They have to be baked at a specific temperature depending on the pan that you're putting it. Those are the obligations, the things that make the infrastructure of what marriage is. That is across the board the same. But how you want to dress it, how you want to flavor it, that's really up to you. And not just up to you as an individual, that's up to you as a partnership, as a married couple, as two people fusing your lives together. That's really where it can start to look differently.
All right. Does anybody else have anything else we want to add? We're about to get into these super chats.
Court, I wanted to hear from her.
Yeah, Court is married.
She
I
disappeared
don't know
on
where I don't know where she went. She got 3 kids. So.
Mm-hmm. Oh, am I
Trigger. Do you know
reading?
how to pull up the super chats? Because
Was that a new question, or what was the
No,
question?
no. I'll read them for you. Jason C, $5. Appreciate that. Trigger Mike is speaking the real stuff. Of course I am. Killing you, bastard. My man Proxy Moron 215, $5. Imagine a car salesman selling a Nissan Ultima. I don't know what that is. Altima, but with the Bugatti price tag and no airbags. That's the deal modern women are offering. Damn, that's kind of harsh, bro. That's kind of harsh. In this lobby, my man, Mike, bring me on the panel. This is a closed panel, but you're always welcome. In fact, we'll bring you on. I like where your head's at, Ennis, at some point. Um, Lord Giatron, $2. BM or black men don't choose to be single. Black women we love are unfit. Damn. I know where this is going. Uh One Titans, $5. Appreciate that. Very normal. Both sets of my grandparents did this. It was common back then. I think he's talking about the bed situation. Lord Giatron again. Those are dinks and dink wads. I know dink means dual income, no kids. I have no idea what dink wad means. Hey, Lord Giatron, go ahead and spell out that acronym for us in the chat, please. Lord Giatron again. Stop worshiping astrology and find the true God. That is facts. Marcus Evans, $5. It don't matter the lifestyle. If the man wants to be in his man cave, that's his right. You married, bro? Because your dinner ain't getting cooked or spit in. One of the other. Ray Alexander, $10. Some high value black men choose to be single in order to have access to lots of women. Yet some financially marginal black men choose not to date because they can't attract or afford the woman they really want. That's true. And I'm telling you right now, men with money got all the access. So, all right, that's it.
All
For now.
right, cool beans. Thank you guys for the super chats. Let's slide into this last topic. So the last topic is the black man choosing to be single? And I have a clip. So hold on.
Down. When I meet women and they talking about, oh, I want marriage and I want kids, I'm out of there. I'm gone. That is not where my life is going. Oh, you thought I was the one. Oh, you thought I was gonna come in and change your life. Oh, you thought we was gonna live happily ever after. Oh, no, we not. No, we not. I am not the one. I am here for a good time, not a long time, baby. So when I hear women talking about commitment and they want this and that and they ready and they tired of playing games, well, listen, baby, I am not the one. If you want to be friends, you want to have sex, you want to, you know what I'm saying, kick it, by all means, let's do it. But once you start talking about I'm in love, which usually happens, hit a U-turn on them. Hit the gas. Skip, no brakes. If you catching feelings, I'm running. I gotta go. It's not that I'm an asshole. It's not that like I have no heart. That I'm a narcissist. Now you might be saying like, okay, well, why do you even deal with women? Well, what the fuck am I supposed to deal with myself?
That was a lot. I mean,
Sad but true.
I mean,
I
was,
hear this so much, and it's so sad that men are not willing to commit anymore. I don't know if it's because of social media. I don't know what it is, but I hear this so much that it just frightens me for my children when they grow up in this world. You know what I mean? But the real question is, why are they not willing to marry? Why are they not willing to
I think it's because of us. I think it's because of women. Like, I think women, we show men how to treat us. And I think that there's been a lot of generations of women that have told men that they didn't have to, do certain things to get our treatment. And now they've been like, well, if I can get it without doing all these things, of course they're going to choose to do that. And so I think now it's more imperative that women that do want to be married, show those qualities so that they can be like, oh, this isn't just, the average woman, or this isn't, things that I can get from, a regular woman, I think.
So we've lowered the bar for men. We've made ourselves accessible without standards and boundaries. So that's
100%.
why they're not willing to.
100%.
I was
I'm glad you answered your
specifically
own
going to
question,
say that.
Court.
I was just getting ready to
talking
ask.
about
I
some-
knew that. I knew that. I was just playing
You
devil.
talk about the I wonder why. I was
Yeah,
I
I
was
wanted
like
to
the
say
cap.
that.
The cap tonight. Oh man. Oh, you know what?
No, I actually wanted to say that he's right to say that that's not what he wants. It's okay. He's being honest, and as women, we have to appreciate honesty. So, one first problem for women is that they want to prove themselves that they can make him change his mind. First mistake. Wrong. Totally wrong. The moment that he says that, run.
Yeah.
Second of all, you are the standards and what you want. If you want commitment, say it up front. First date, first conversation. Don't make me waste my time. I'm not here to play with nothing. No, I'm looking for marriage. If he doesn't want that, he's not gonna text you again. Simple as that. So that's the filter. It's the filter, and then talk these things on time, because it's like, oh, they're saying, oh, I'm in love. Why did you give him access? Why did you give him access if he is not, if you haven't even talked about what you guys want? And I'm not an expert. I'm not even an example. I don't like to put myself as an example, but I told my now boyfriend, we met like a year ago, but we became boyfriend girlfriend like probably 8 months later, but nothing happened. Nothing. Zero. We were just getting to know each other. If you want it, deal with it. If you don't like it, then you know what you have to do. But if you think you can do better, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. I don't care. But I was single, like I'm not messing with anybody because I know what I want and that's my standard. And he realized that my standards were real. He respected my boundaries, and he's like, you know what? She's not playing. She's not like the other type of girls or whatever. So I think it's, those things. And the first mistake, like you can like stop thinking that you can make them change their mind, because you can't.
Saida, you're 100% right. Women make that mistake all the time because men will tell you up front. They'll let you know, like, I'm not looking for anything serious. They will tell you that off rip. And the moment they say that, if you were looking for something more than just a piece of meat, then you might as well just go ahead and exit, because he's not changing his mind. But women have this delusional thought process of like, oh no, he's gonna change for me. I'm gonna pull out all the tricks. I'm gonna cook for him. I'm gonna be that girl sending him motivational quotes in the morning. I'm gonna change his mind. And I swear to God, you cannot change their mind, because once they made it up in their mind, they stand on that shit. Unlike women, most men, they stand on the shit that they say. Like if they say I don't want it, they don't want it. Like
they pull out all the tricks, all right.
My dad told me
they do.
Yeah, my dad told me one time, you are no rehab center, woman. You are no rehab center. And I was, I stick with that. Like I was, so nope.
You know what the worst part about this is that what I don't like in these spaces, and why you see me advocate for men so much, is that I understand that y'all know my stance on this. I don't believe discipline exists at all, because it is in our nature. Like we are animals by nature. The only way we have the appearance of discipline is the absence of open legs. That's what it actually was. All right. That's what most of the time it is. It's that there's a dad or a man or a code or obedience to religion, something standing in the way of that man. It is not him being disciplined, because once those legs are open, 8 out of 10 men are going to smash. Period. Men,
So
it's literally our one weakness in life. All right. So men value what's hard to acquire. That's really it in a nutshell. All right. And the other part of that is that men will only do what you require. As a woman, if you fancy yourself a valuable woman, require something. We used to have a society where all women will require something. Men would say, hey, listen, if women want men to start committing, if women wanted marriage, Require it. Simple as that. A bunch of men used to sit around saying, hey, I'm trying to get at shorty. Well, that's a good girl, so you ain't getting no box. You're gonna have to go to her daddy. You're gonna have to go meet her brothers. I know her brother. He ain't no punk. So you got to come with your A game, bro. You like, no, I'm down for it, bro. I'm really feeling this one. That's how, I'm the marrying type. That's how me and my boys talk, right? So you just got to make sure you're requiring something and stay down. Stay down with it. Don't fold. Don't try to make up your own way of doing it. Literally, there are women on their wedding day be like, ooh, like I'm about to burst. Finally, it's happening, right? Because you waited and you required that. Shoot, I know some girls that jumped on that thing on the night of the engagement. They couldn't wait, right? But hey, you required something and you got it. That's all I'm saying.
I'm curious to hear what court thoughts are on this. You're married. You said you were married, right? How long have you been married?
Going on 5 years in March.
Okay, nice. You have like a really young face. So like even when you say you had 3 kids, I'm like, she looks young. But okay. So what do you think about this?
About men not choosing to marry?
Yes.
Like I said, I hear that this is a common thing. I even hear close friends saying that they've been in relationships for like over 10 years and they still haven't gotten a ring. So, I mean, it's common, in this day and age, but, I don't know. It's kind of weird. I mean, not weird because I was once in the dating realm, world or whatever. So I get it. It was, hard out there. But once I found the one, I mean, it was like, God sent. And just being, I don't know.
Do you think that the women are not doing the right thing? They're not like vetting properly or choosing the right men? Or do you think the men are just saying like, I don't want to get married? Like if I can get all the wifely material and like the access that you would get from a wife, if I'm getting that, why would I marry you? Because I heard you say something about like some of your friends been in relationships for 10 plus years and they're still not married. To me, I'm like, what the hell? Like, what are we doing? We were just shacking
Yeah,
up
I
playing
just
house.
think it's not, setting the standard and your boundaries. Like, like just being upfront saying like, this is what I want versus just allowing him to give you what he wants you to have. You know what I mean? So setting that standard for yourself and saying that I want marriage, or I'm not going to be in this relationship past, a year or two, that's where I think most women go wrong. Versus, I mean, yeah. So instead of looking at what he have and how attractive he is, like really, ask these questions up front so you know what you're dealing with and what, the outcome is going to be with dealing with this particular person.
So it's kind of like setting the correct tone at the beginning, letting
Yeah.
letting them know what you want, and then vice versa, just to make sure you guys on the same page. Cam, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I just wanted to like piggyback off of what everyone else was saying. I also think that to the point, I forgot who said it, but about basically men not speaking up about not wanting to be married, or if they do speak up, that we need to move on. I also think that there needs to be a conversation that just because they don't outright say it, you as a woman should also be cognizant of the relationship so that you don't stay in a relationship too long either. Because I think, there's a lot of women that do stay in, 5-10 year relationships, and they're like, why hasn't he married me yet? Why hasn't he done these things? But it's just like, if he, I just feel like a marriage-minded man, you're having those conversations, you would know. So it's just like, if he hasn't shown you those things, 1 + 1 has to equal 2 at one point. You have to stop trying to either keep yourself in a relationship that isn't going to move to where you want it to move to, or again, just move on in that moment when you're realizing, in that dating process with that man, that he's not wanting marriage, so that you're not hurting yourself and wasting years with somebody.
Yeah. And what really gets under my skin is women downplaying marriage because their significant or, other is not giving them the ring or proposing to them. Like that really bothers me. It's like, just because, you're a man. Yeah. It's like, don't downplay marriage. Don't make it seem like it's just a piece of paper or just a ring. Like it's way more to it than just that.
That is a common tactic.
Trigger.
Common tactic.
Quick question, Trigger. how long does it take for, can you help the ladies out? Like, how long does it take for a man to know? And I've heard men say different numbers, different months, years, whatever. How long does it really take a man to know, or
Ooh,
just you
so
personally?
this is a good one. I'm gonna put it in a few different ways. So for the ladies that aren't married yet, I'm gonna tell you this: your future husband is in your past. He ain't a dude that you know. He's in your past. The
Yes,
issue
he
that
passed
women are
away.
this is
I'm
the issue.
serious. I was engaged. He passed away. So you're
I
correct.
know, no, I'm saying, but oh damn, I
But
didn't
that
know you were
doesn't mean that
serious.
I cannot get
No,
engaged
yeah,
again and
for
marry again.
most women, their future husband in their past, and this is what I mean by that. The reason why it's not working out for some women is because they're trying to get to know a man outside of the traditional courting process. What used to happen is that you knew someone so well because you either grew up with them or you went to college with them, learning their ins and outs. You've seen them naturally in different types of situations. You've seen their temperament. You've seen them almost get into a fight. You've seen them stop fights. You've seen how they interact with your friends. This is the organic nature in which we're supposed to marry a person. What dating screwed up everything. Now you're trying to rush and sex is involved, so your judgment is clouded. You forget to ask questions, the important ones, because the dude just trying to hit again, and you just trying to get that that shaky leg feeling again. Now you forget to ask all the important questions, right? So for a man who's older, let's say, and is actually ready to get married, very short amount of time. When you ask the right questions and vet properly, at least for what a man wants, no, he'll know, right? Your emotional makeup. That's why I said in my case, I got myself involved with my wife's family. I was like, let's go meet everybody. She's like, really? Yes. Meet everyone. This is, I have
How
to speed
soon did
this
you
thing
want to do
along.
this though? Like
I
y'all
met
been
her mom
talking
like
maybe.
after month 5, like month 4 or 5.
Okay.
Right. So we chilling every day. We're talking every day. She had made me breakfast a few times. I met her at the library. If you like, it's just like, wow, when you in somebody's mix like that, getting to know them, you're like, okay, the step one is done. Character, morals, temperament, and my general attractiveness to her, quick. That all that stuff happens quick if you ask the right questions and put yourself in the right situations. Now you got to know if you're feeling the family situation and they're feeling you mutually. It's quick. The issue is that people aren't asking these questions. It can take as long as it's supposed to take for each individual person because most likely they ruined the situation by involving sex into it, by being superficial about the relationship, by asking a dude to take care of all these superficial things like cars and all that, blah, 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 because that's what they think a relationship was about. And they never got down to the substantive qualities and answers that will make a man ready to pop the question to you.
I
Can I
gotta
add?
say, oh, go ahead, go, Kim.
Sorry. Okay. I just wanted to add like a little personal experience. I just wanted to like, and also ask, because I think in my generation, I'm in my 20s, I'm in college and there are, my white friends are married and, have been that and have been, getting married and things like that. And my black friends aren't. And I've realized that it seems like black women don't think that they can balance, or maybe they don't want to balance marriage and education, and they seem to choose education over the marriage. So I just want to see, do y'all feel like that's like a trend just in our community or just educated women?
Don't make me answer first because I'll spend 30 minutes on this by myself.
Go ahead, Mike.
All right, listen. It's all it's a result of bad teaching. That's all it is. It's a result of bad teaching and a bad mindset. Unfortunately, given to them by their mothers, most of them, their aunts, their grandmothers. It started off with this: you have time, baby girl. Enjoy yourself. Men have time. Women don't have time. You have a biological clock that's ticking because the issue is that a lot of women use their education as a tool to try to negotiate circumstances with a man. And the reason for the resentment and the bitterness that you see on YouTube is because they realize that men don't give a damn about that degree. In fact, if we were supposed to give a damn about it, We would appreciate if you came to us acting like you wanted to be an asset to the family rather than use a degree to try to negotiate terms. Right? So it's so much bad teaching all around. So like you said, I personally feel bad because all the girls I went to college with, we barely going to any weddings. It's only my homeboys, right? It's only the men's weddings we going to primarily. So now all of them, we're all like 36 years old. Now they all on my wife's phone crying like, am I gonna be alone forever? Yes, because you've had numerous revelations throughout your life to let you know you were heading down the wrong path, and you doubled down on the fact that you had time. Like some of my wife's friends hate me because they just used me to ask questions, and I told them the truth. No, that's not going to happen to me. I was like, you want the truth, or you want somebody to keep lying to you? I told them at 32 they need to prioritize this. In fact, I'm sorry, at my wife's 30th birthday, we were all in Costa Rica, and they just decided to ask me a bunch of questions like I ain't Trigger Mike, and I ain't about to trigger the shit out of all of y'all. I'm gonna tell you the truth, right? So I told them straight up, y'all need to prioritize marriage like yesterday. Prioritize it. Whatever you're doing, stop doing it in the manner that you're doing. There was one woman that worked for immigration. She was gone every 6 weeks. She come home for 6 weeks, gone for 6 weeks. Talk about a man need to be able to deal with that. Ain't no man dealing with that shit. He want his wife, his new wife, available to him. Don't you have a job you can do? You have a job you can do that pays the same. You just want to do what you want to do. So it's really a result of bad teaching and the doubling down. That's the part I really want to stress. It's that even when told the way to do things and a better path, they chose to double down on it and do what they wanted to do. So
That's a good segue into what I was gonna say. Man, because I think it's actually really sad, honestly, for a lot of our women, because it is true that a lot of them believe they have more time than they actually do. Because once they get to a certain age, it's not that they aren't beautiful or intelligent; it's that a man doesn't see them as their first choice, and that's not what I was going to say. But what I was going to say is when it comes to self discipline, a lot of our women, they lack keeping their word to themselves and they lack self discipline. So if you're telling yourself, I'm not going to sleep with this man, and then you do, that's on you. That's not on the man. And then you do it again with the next one, and again with the next one, and again with the next one, then it's a pattern, right? And then they're like, well, why am I ending up in this pattern? Or if these men aren't, how could I put it, they're not willing to marry you, and you're giving them ultimatums, and then you don't keep your word to yourself. Like, you'll say, I'm gonna leave, and then you stay. So now his respect for you is actually diminishing, and you think like you have more leverage and you have less. So it's like, I think women have to learn how to have that self-discipline and have that patience, and also keep your word to yourself. If you say you're going to do something, especially to a man, you got to do it. You got to keep that word, because once a man doesn't have that respect for you, your chances of him marrying you are like slim to none. Slim to none. So I really want our women to be married. I want them to prioritize it, but they have to believe it within themselves first.
But you know
They
what they're
have to.
listening to, Balance?
Mm-hmm.
You
Go
know
ahead.
what the women are listening to right now? Because I feel like women, black women in particular, are being brainwashed. And then we have people like Sierra, Cardi B, Nicki Minaj, Megan Thee Stallion. Grant, I like a handful of them, I'm not gonna lie. But the issue is they're preaching this message, this independent, F these men, get what you can get, city girls, get what you can get out of them. And all of these women have men. That's the thing. So like they're preaching this message, and this is getting played in people's head, and people don't understand how deep music is. It's playing in people's head, and they're like trying to live their life like this. And now they're sitting around like, I heard Black Twitter went crazy. I'm not on Twitter, but I heard it went crazy because Tierra put out like a little teaser of her new song talking about being independent. They're like, you're married to Russell Wilson. Like, can we stop with this? Like, we want to be married.
I want to answer you and say it like this, Curves, because our brain is fully developed at 24, 25 years old. These are grown women, and I'm tired of women not taking self accountability. There is nothing on that television that's going to tell me what to do more than me telling me what to do. I'm sorry. Like, I can't, these women got to take accountability. Like, even though you're right, especially for the young, impressionable minds, like the 19 to 21-year-olds, that's a real thing. And that's why I implore us to be mentors, because women need that guidance. But we have to, I have an echo. I don't know, but I have to. I really want us to be the example. We have to live the example for the younger generation. Now, if you're talking about older women, hey, if you don't got it by now, you ain't never gonna get it. You ain't never gonna get it, because I mean, it's not on social media. It's not on celebrities to raise you. Especially if you're already grown. I'm not. I know you're not saying that.
Okay.
I'm just saying, like, these women, I think a lot of women like to blame society. They want to blame men. They want to blame the state of America, racism, anything but self-accountability. And it's really like, yo, sis, at 30, 35, like, we gotta take accountability for our life, and it's nobody else's fault. Once you're past a certain age, it's like, yo, that's on you. And I just want to also share this last point. When I was single for a very long time, because there are a lot of men that may not want to wait for you, that may not value the things that you value. And a lot of women, what do? They fold under the pressure, because they're like, I'm tired of being single. Listen, I was single longer than all of y'all, okay? So listen, you just got to wait. You have to have that patience. And I know it's easier said than done, but then you guys have to have realistic activities to fill your time. Go to the gym. Okay, I went to the gym earlier. I posted it on my Instagram, like, where are we y'all at? You know how many single firemen in the gym? And I'm only saying that because, not that I'm looking, but they constantly coming at me because there's no competition. Listen, out of the gym tonight, there was like, I want to say, it was, I can't even count them.
You were biting your lip.
At least, no, because I was thinking, like, how many? At least 60, 70 in shape, young men out there. And they're like, there's no women here. Literally. I seen 2 women. So I'm just saying that to say, like, if you actually go out there and have these activities to fill your time, you wouldn't be just home thinking about, I need a man, I'm just going to submit to this one and then just have sex to a random man. No, like, stop that. That's why they're failing. Have the patience, have the self-discipline. The gym also teaches you self-discipline to get the goal of what you want long term. So, all right, I'm done.
I mean, if we're gonna put it all the way out there on like what needs to be done, it's the number one problem. I'll say the Black community, the women have a self-worth problem. First and foremost, you got to understand your value. We have a value problem. Okay. Then we have a problem with women not understanding men at all, not what we want, in favor of what you want. You know, that comes from the toxic teaching of not even just their mothers, of society in general, right? And acquiescing and staying married. Like, they chose a God, they chose a master to serve, and it was not Jesus Christ. Like, they're serving Instagram. Instagram is their master, right? So they're finding all of these weird relationship coaches. And listen, the funniest thing about all these relationship coaches, the reason why me and other people on Trigger Mike, you'll find men talking the shit that I talk. Most the men that I rock with, the Antons, the Angry Men, all these, we got the results we talk about. I'm talking about marriage, and I'm married. Kendra G ain't married. April Mason ain't married. Cynthia G, old linebacker looking ass, ain't married. But y'all listen to hurt them about relationships. Like, it's crazy. It's like, yo, y'all serving the wrong master. And the submission problem, not to men, to greater authority in general. Because when you submit your mind that I don't have control, I need someone to guide me. When you have that type of submission, we have a submission problem. Leave the men out of it. You need to go to your pastor. You need to go to your grandfather, your estranged father, someone, and say, I don't know what I am doing. I submit to authority. Help me, because I don't want to end up alone. I don't want to end up single. That's what's messing up. To the women that I know that are married, that don't have a problem being married, the one thing the men that put rings on their finger are able to see is that this woman is willing to be led. She makes my life easier. She is an improvement in addition to me. I don't have to fight. I don't have to fight. Like, why the hell would I go out here as a black man and want to fight the freaking world and come home and fight my woman too? This woman is peace in my most needed moment. And women need to be willing to be that for their man, not just talk it. You need to be willing. It's service. I saw a clip yesterday of, you see those clips where women like, how I greet my husband when he comes home. I wasn't even there. The woman just came through and just flashed her husband. I was happy for him. It ain't even my wife. I was like, hey, do you know, whatever mood I was in just changed. If that's the greeting I got when I got home. That's all men want. So women have to refuse to stop being that, right? It's actually to your benefit, your safety, your prosperity, your vision, everything that's supposed to happen for you. Submit and watch what happens. That's the one thing women are unwilling to do, and that is where their prosperity is. Submit and see what happens. The right man is going to find you. Submit yourself to a greater authority. Let people guide you, and the right man is going to find you and take you where you need to go. That's my
Trigger,
wish for all women.
I have a question for you.
Mhm.
The question would be, because I've been on a panel with Anton and he said something, and I'm just curious as to what you think. Like, pretty much, so men want peace, right? So like,
Yeah.
how is a woman to give a man peace? Like, okay, so at what point are we to check on you? Because I've also heard like, oh, women don't care about men's feelings and emotions. They don't even check on them. It's all about yourself. So at what point does a woman check on their man and be like, are you good? Or at what point do you just leave him alone and let him have his own space? Because I've asked a question similar to this before, and Anton was like, leave us alone, like we want our own space. Like, but like, are there men who want to be spoken to or like need that type of interaction? Like,
I see what you're saying. So
mhm.
most things that happen in a marriage are routine, and you understand them by understanding your partner. One of the things I've noticed is that a lot of people, they're looking to have this type of relationship someone else has, or they're trying to get the response that someone else husband gave, right? And what you need to do is learn your partner. It's as simple as that. It literally can take years, but that's what for better or for worse means. It can take years. You literally can just choose that person every day and be like, I caught you at a bad time yesterday. I think we got off on the wrong foot. That was a bad reaction. I'm here for you anyway, boo. Let me know what you need. I'm gonna fall back. When you're ready, let me know. Jesus, that woman right there. That woman. Listen, it's only in a woman's femininity, when she never steps out of it, do men learn when they need to apologize to women. I don't know one woman who. So what is currently happening is that the woman gets upset that she don't get the response she want, then she blow up, step outside of her femininity. Now he like, I don't know why the hell I married this chick in the first place. When a woman is uniquely feminine, just stays feminine, that's when the dude is like, I can't believe I just talked to her ass like that. Babe, I'm sorry, man. I'm just going through it. It was long today. Appreciate you coming with that drink. All right. I'm sorry about that. My bad. Right. So it takes a while to learn it. And you'll be sitting there like, it's okay, whatever you need. I'm here for you. If you want me to leave you alone, let me know. No, I don't need you to leave me alone. Learning your spouse, not trying to go by some cookie cutter, not trying some cookie cutter way to approach your man, no matter what he is going through. Let that fool know you there. Like literally standing by. I'm here when you need me. I'm your wife. Wifey got you, right? Almost like he can't get rid of you. Like, damn, this woman really got my back. I ain't gonna talk to her like that no more. Stuff like that.
Yep, I agree with Trigger Mike. I think that we who truly sacrifice ourselves for others is the is the essence of our femininity, and that's where our true happiness lies on. It's like that's when you are actually feel the most happy. Um, I think a lot to do with this is feminism. because women have been oppressed, and we all know that. But if you ask these feminists nowadays, oh, I'm fighting for women's rights. What rights? Ask them which rights are they talking about? They don't even know. And the rights that they're talking about is the right of being naked outside, being able to delete babies, and have sex whenever they want to. Those are not rights. It's like nothing. We all can vote, we all can work, so it doesn't even make sense. And if you notice nowadays, what feminism has done too is that we have other men that are on the other side of the fence calling, and I'm talking about the transgender and all the community, which I have nothing against them, but they're calling women cis and women something. So
I
they're
just heard about that the other day, Sadia, and I could not. I was like,
I'm like, so I cannot call myself a woman now because I am excluding them, just because I must call myself a woman cis, because I'm like, yo, this is out of, and this is something that, yeah, and I'm telling you, these women that have
why is
Not
it?
supported
address
them.
myself like that.
I
I'm
don't.
laughing at y'all
I
because it's
have
y'all
never
fault.
supported that. I have never supported that. And the way I think is like, if they want me to respect their belief, their behavior, or whatever, I can respect it. I don't have to agree with it, which is different. I'm not gonna judge you. I'm nobody
People,
to judge you, but you cannot force me to call you in a certain way. You cannot force me to believe in something that I don't want to, and I don't believe in. And as a matter of fact, I was like, you know what? If whatever friends I have, followers, they want to, just walk away just because I have this, mentality, then walk away. I don't need you. I don't care. But in reality, it's like people now, and remember, these people that are trying to do that, they're biological men who are trying to oppress biological women to do whatever F they want because they are still men biologically. So they have to,
yeah.
so at the end of the day, we're being oppressed anyways. But
Wait, hold on, Cam. I know you're gonna say something. I'm just curious because the equalizer over there looked like he was laughing, and you said it's our fault. So I'm curious as to like why is it the woman's fault? This whole transgender thing, is that what you blame that on
All
us?
of it. All of it. Y'all enabled the LBGYN community. I've been saying since I was young lad, I have not had any evidence that I was wise beyond my years, except for this particular topic. When I was in college, I said, y'all better be careful because I don't think these people want equality. I think they want their way of life to be the dominant way of life. And look what's happening now. They won't be happy until we're all a little bit questionable, right? Until we all admit that, oh yeah, I've had this. That's what they want. I've known it for a while because my thing is that I don't believe they can feel comfortable being known as different. You see what I'm saying? That's why. So that's why they're trying to make themselves the same. That's why they want to be called the same as you. They don't want to be called different. They don't want different acronyms or nothing. They want to be called a man or a woman or you know what I'm saying? So they want the same tampon box that you got, but they don't bleed. Like, come on now. Y'all start like enabling them when it was about the men. Y'all were shaming men for pushing back. And we backed up. Now it's about y'all. So I get to do my little ha 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 because y'all enabled all of this.
I didn't have no parts in it,
Can I go
but
real
but
quick?
a lot of women did support it. A lot of women did support it.
All right. How many people you got named Peaches or Pookie in your phone? Because that's what all their
Zero,
names are. Okay.
zero, not one damn what?
They all name themselves Peaches. All right, let me stop before I get canceled.
Yeah, for real. They'll come after your ass. Go ahead, Cam. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're good. I just wanted to piggyback off of both of those points. Back to like the original conversation we were talking about marriage and everything like that. I think that married women and men, whether they're older or younger, need to also be pushing a more positive narrative about marriage. Because I think on social media, there's a lot of, older married women that, talk about how miserable they were in marriage, or talk about, how their husband was just so horrible, but they're still married. So I just think there needs to be more of a, positive, encouraging mindset when it comes to marriage, when it comes from married people, so that, people that aren't married and wanting to look for that, have a positive, relationship to look up to. And then as far as the transgender thing, yes, like women were their first best friends, their first safe space. And I think in making a safe space for them, now they have decided that they are that space, and that, everybody has to be that now. And they like to call, straight people anti them and all these things, but I think they're anti-straight, because it's like, why is it wrong if I want to raise my child to not, indulge in these things, or to not expose them to these things, or certain things like that. So I just think now it's not more so inclusivity, but more so an agenda to push on to everybody.
I completely agree. And like, my issue is not even that people want to do what they want to do and live their lives. You can't stop people from doing that, but it's more so of the agenda behind it and trying to force things on people. It's not just like they fight for these certain rights, and then if you don't agree with it, you're canceled, which is ridiculous to me. It's like nobody ever forced straight on people. Nobody ever forced anything else. Like, if you're with it, you're with it. If you're not, then do you. But and then what really bothers me is more so of the kids aspect. Like, they're having like these, I know we're kind of off topic, but they're having these like drag shows and like reading to kids and stuff. And like, I just feel like once you get kids involved, it's like, allow the parent to teach their kid whatever they want to teach them. But like, you pushing certain things is just a no-go for me personally.
Yeah.
Do we
I
have
just
any? Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I just wanted to say, kind of going back to the topic, that marriage is truly a beautiful thing, and people, like Cam was saying, want, straying away from it because of the negative things that you may hear from family members. That's their experience. It's not yours, so try it out. Not try it out, but like, I guess try it out. Yeah, because your experience at the end of the day is what you're going to make it. So don't let people that are bashing marriage deter you from wanting to get married. Because for me personally, it was the best thing that had ever happened to me. Honestly, finding my person who respect me, who loved me. Granted, it wasn't perfect, but we got through it through communication, accountability, looking at, each other, looking yourself in the mirror and acknowledging your faults and your wrong, and come together and, mending things. So it's not perfect, but it's worth it. You know what I mean? So if there's something that you desire and that you want, give it a shot. And I guarantee you, if you are somebody who is willing to make things work and have self-awareness and be accountable for your actions and whatnot, it's going to be a beautiful thing. So don't allow people negative comments about marriage deter you from wanting, to be married. And that's just what I
I
wanted
love
to say.
that.
I love it.
Thank you
Yes.
for adding that. Happy for you. Love to see it. Before we close out, do we have any super chats?
We sure do.
Let's do
My
it.
man Lord Geatron got on my ass, said, "You ain't read all my chats." All right, bet. I got your chat. I went and found it. Your money don't mean nothing to a real man. Damn sure don't. Marcus Evans, $5. Cam and Court, be careful in these spaces. Not on this panel. You don't got to be careful on this panel.
We're
But
cool over here.
yeah, but
Stop.
yeah, if you ever get called, well, I think Courtney, you were on Thursday
Yeah, don't go on
once before.
Thursday.
I don't do
You
Thursday.
get invited. Don't.
Just watch yourself. Anything
Balance
can
came on
happen.
Thursday. Stop it.
Anything can happen.
I'm not doing Thursday.
All right, Chad Poole, $2 says, if a woman is not married by 30, it's you, sis. What do y'all think?
That's a little.
Is it
Nah, that's a little far fetched. I mean, nah.
Case by case. You can't.
It could go either way. It could go either way.
Y'all must be 30. All right.
Cut it out. I'm not. Not
Candace
yet. Cut it out.
Loving, $20. Great point and question, Cam. Ray Alexander, $5. Just to go back to that 30 thing. That's why I told that to those ladies, and that's why they hate. Well, they pretend to hate me now because I said that exact thing. I was like, y'all 30 years old, bro. Y'all got a better chance of getting blown up by the Taliban than getting married if y'all don't get serious today. And look, that's why they can't look at me in the eye 6 years later. All right, Ray Alexander, $5. Cameron, there also needs to be more black men in college studying STEM, business, healthcare, so that black women have suitable and degreed black men as options. I don't know.
I think that's a false narrative. I don't think more black men need to do anything. I think there's enough black men making enough money and doing what they do.
Absolutely. I was going to say, black men have been disappearing for college for almost 2 decades, and black men
There's
still
men
make
in
more
my
money.
classes, exactly.
Still make more money than black women, even though they're the ones that got all the degrees. Black men are doing what makes money. And in fact, I want people to highlight, don't worry about what not even white men do or black men do. What are the Asian and Middle Eastern men doing? Even they are disappearing from college, which is telling you that we have other avenues of making money now.
Trades.
You know what?
The
The thing is
internet
that-
being another too. Yep.
The thing is that women use the degrees as like a trophy or reward to prove themselves that they are good. And I just feel like, they don't see marriage as a reward or as something that they're winning, something to feel proud about. And I get it. I was talking to one of my best friends. She's like, I was embarrassed to say that my husband was the one supporting the house. Like, I was embarrassed to say that he was paying for everything. But then I realized that I should be proud, like all women want that because they work, they get in debt, they go to college, they get the degree. And at the end of the day, they don't even want to work. They don't want to do it.
Listen, don't
like
even get me
crazy.
started. Don't get me started. Listen, the black community is on life support. When
That
you're
is
on Trigger Mike Show or any of these shows on Lapeef Network, you better tread carefully if I'm there. If you black and you talking about staying home, but you got college debt, you better be lucky this ain't a live panel because I'll slap somebody. The black community is on life support. Lace up your boots and take your ass to work unless your husband says you can stay home. Period.
There's
That's
student
it.
forgiveness
Get up.
program.
Your children need, you don't even talk. All this talk about generational wealth. Ha. You can't even begin to build it without 2 incomes. It is not that men and women need to work. It's that the average woman isn't even willing to live under what the average man can provide, i.e. the first video you showed. So if you're not going to do that and you like luxury and you want a few finer things in life, then take your ass to work then. That's what you got a degree for. All right? The black community is on life support. Get out there and work so you can build everything faster. I'm going to tell you right now, anybody, I put up anyone, white, black, Asian, whatever, put them up against me and my wife. You're going to struggle. Put them up against me and my wife. High 6-figure earning woman. Put them up against me and her. Everything we build, you think you can build, we can build faster because we made the pact. We ain't stopping till she literally burns out. And I'm gonna be like, all right, you can sit your ass down somewhere because that's what you want to do. But we said we're gonna build everything for our children faster than anyone possible that we know can build it. That's the attitude I want to see black couples especially have when it comes to this. I don't want to hear nothing else about no staying home. Y'all make me sick. Not y'all, but y'all know who I'm talking about.
My final thought, I'm not disagreeing with you, Mike. Oh, go ahead. Finish the.
I evict the kid, $10. As a black man, it's the fact that black women don't even care about their image no more that bothers me. I love when I see a black woman get married, but if the majority only care about don't need a man image, we can't find you.
Yes, cancel the bonnets. Please cancel the bonnets.
Oh my God. Oh, listen.
100%.
Listen, y'all.
I
live in-
literally got demolished. I got my head bit off on social media for telling girls to stop going out the house with bonnets. Like, it's literally sleepwear. Like, it's in the house. Like,
Yo.
it's 2 p.m.
Kevin Samuels tried to tell them they ain't hear that shit.
I stopped
You
by
only
Walmart.
wear it right before, like you sit on the bed and you're about to knock out, and you know that
Listen.
there is no action with your husband happening. Then you can wear it.
I live in a nice, affluent neighborhood. I've been here for years. We got Walmart, HEB, all this stuff out here. I forgot. Okay, I went into Houston last week. All right. And I stopped at the Walmart in the hood. The amount of bonnets and see-through, what do you call it? Stockings. Do y'all not understand that if your ass is wide, those stockings are see-through? I had to pick up my daughter and put my hand over her eyes because I didn't want her to see someone that looked like her outside looking that way. Like, yo, this like I applaud that principal in the Houston area that basically said you cannot drop your kids off or walk in my school with a damn bonnet on. I applaud that lady, and I hope they do that everywhere. I'm gonna open a small business. It might even be called Bonnets, Bonnets are banned. It's gonna be a restaurant. Bonnets are banned, just to let you know that we a bougie ass restaurant. Okay?
That was a real thing. They said that women can't pick up their kids with bonnets
It
on.
was a female principal that said she was so tired, and she's in the city of Houston, Houston Independent School District. So a lot of hood schools
Madison,
in
I
there.
think.
She was tired of seeing that ghetto ass shit.
Yeah, she's a black female principal. It's like, I'm tired of the way I'm being represented. You cannot drop your kid off. Meaning, if you try to get out the car and walk in this building, we're gonna turn your ass around. Take that damn bonnet off. You can't have on sleepwear, pajama pants,
As they should.
slippers. Comb your damn hair before you bring your kid in here. I love that.
That's
They
the way
went
it is
nuts.
here.
I hate to see that
That's
too.
the way it is here. Like, you have to dress properly to go to how do you call it? Parent school, something like reunion or meetings. I don't know how you call them, but
parent teacher.
Yeah, when you do those type of meetings, you have to wear like something, like even you have like the mom look that day. Like, if you usually wear like comfortable clothes, like you're extra on that day, and everybody's so fancy and like trying to look nice. Here is a big thing.
It's
All right,
horrible.
Kelly Connection, $5. I disagree. If a mentally challenged Pookie wants not marry you, don't do it. Or wants to marry you, don't do it. Stay single until you are 35 and marry the right person. Who said marry a Pookie?
I don't think it takes that long. Or I
Damn,
don't
he
think
mentally
it should
challenged.
take
God, damn, mentally challenged Pookie. How you even get access? That's what I want to know. How y'all even get in a relationship? The D was good. That's all. That's always the answer. We don't even gotta talk about it. Look at Curve's face. She's like, well, I mean, shit.
I mean,
I was
Kelly,
just thinking
people get
Go ahead.
divorced. Go ahead. No, go ahead, Curves.
No, I was just adding to the whole bonnet thing. I was thinking about how I see people in Walmart with pajamas on. That shit pisses me off. Like, why'd you walk out the house like that? You probably ain't brush your teeth. You probably ain't do shit. You just got out.
The worst thing. Only thing worse than being a person with the bonnet on and the pajamas, being another black person while everybody looking at you like, do you condone this? Here's another one.
We don't stand with them.
God, I don't want to stand. I don't want to be black that day.
That's not.
I wanna
Yeah,
look
that's
like
not
Michael.
my people right there.
God.
Definitely not. All right. Does anybody have anything we want to add?
Yes.
Oh,
because
go ahead, Balance.
I was talking about something else, but the last thing I wanted to say about the last clip that you played about that guy who was saying he didn't want marriage. I like that he's honest. Like, most men are not gonna, like, he's upfront and telling you, like, yo, I don't want this. I'm like, okay, deuces. It's like easy to just run away from these people. They tell you upfront. And a lot of men may not tell you with their words. They really may not, but they do tell you with their actions. So when they tell you with their actions, get out of there. Like I keep telling women, have patience, have patience, have patience. And the reason I say that is because don't settle for just less treatment and less than what you want just because you don't want to be single. And I think okay, Mike, but I think there are a lot of shows like this. No, not that. But what you said prior, I think because about the 30-year-old who was not married yet. There are a lot of people that will say, I'll just settle for anything because they have this fear-mongery and the desperation. And I don't think that's healthy either. Like, listen, if you got to be patient and wait, don't just settle for anything because you don't want to be by yourself. And then you end up divorced anyway. Like, that's why we got a 50% divorce rate. So yes, let me finish though. So I'm just saying, like, if you need to have more patience, because I just wanted to add, when I was single for that long period of time, all the men that didn't want to wait and they went to go find easier targets, they always call me back. I'm just saying, it could have been 6 months later, a year later, whatever. They called me back because they couldn't find what they were looking for.
Oh, they had a block on Balance, huh?
they probably wanted, they like, oh, now I want to be serious. No, I'm not interested. So you really do have to have that patience to find the best fit and not just get married and be a part of that 50% divorce. Okay.
All right,
Indeed.
Cam.
I just wanted to ask, do you think that with being intentional with marriage and knowing what you want, and, dismissing those men that don't want marriage and don't want what you want, do you really think it takes 35 plus to find that man? Because I think, me personally, I think that, again, if you're being intentional and, again, we're dismissing the men that aren't showing me what I want, and, I full-heartedly agree that you attract the person or men that are on your level and where you are in life, that, it shouldn't take until 35. That sounds like a really long time to go through a vetting process. It just sounds like, I just think it shouldn't take that long. 35 just sounds like a really long time.
I think the comment said 30 years old. And just to respond to you, you could be engaged, right? And then that person ends up doing something crazy, end up in jail, and you single again. Like, life, all I'm saying is life happens. And honestly, when I was, in my early 20s, Cam, I thought exactly like that. So I'm not saying you're wrong or right. I'm just saying that every situation is different. Hopefully you make good decisions when you're in your early 20s and you get the ring and you find the person that's on your level and you're willing to work with that person, even if they're not at six figures, even if they're not making 60,000. Like, if you're willing to be that woman and build with your man, do it. That, I agree with you there. But yeah.
All right, we still got more super chats rolling in. These are long as hell. Somebody do me the honors, please.
Go ahead, Cam. You're in college. Go ahead.
Black Lexicon, $10. He said, joy, love, respect, value, and money can grow in a marriage, and those are the most important things, not big D and 6 feet. That won't change, so those things cannot be the most important. Great panel.
Indeed.
Kelly Connection, $1.99. Marriage is something you are supposed to do once.
That's what I'm talking about, Kelly.
Lisa Williams, Side D, $5. Great show, ladies, and Trigger Mike. Really enjoyed the conversation.
That's all the super chats.
All right. I just want to say, I enjoyed being up here with all you ladies. I really like the tone, the vibe. Trigger, you my guy. I was about to say, oh, there's another super chat.
Yeah.
I was just telling them that I was enjoying them. You can go ahead, do your thing.
Marriage, politics, and sports, $5. Women don't divorce because they settled. They simply never stop looking. Women need to start talking about what they are giving.
That man been married 35 years. Y'all need to listen to him. What we call an OG. Original gynecologist.
Cut it out. All right.
Did Kelly say something else?
I thought he read it already.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, my bad.
Well, does anybody have a solution because this is called the solution. So if anybody has a solution to any of the topics that we talked about tonight, or if you're in the chat and you want to talk about a solution, let us know. Let's hear it.
I'll give a solution. I mean, we on both sides. So the topic is the black man choosing to be single? Absolutely. He is. One of the reasons is because the woman he wants, i.e. primarily black women, we know that that's who black men want. You have to make yourself the best option. Not only that, men look at marriage now as a risk not worth taking. So you have to understand what you're up against. Be better than the risk he thinks he's taking. That woman it's inside of you. Whatever it's going to take to bring it out of you. Stop following the wrong master. If you want to be married, make friends with married women. Make friends with women who have done this for a very long time. Submit yourself to what they are saying and learning that craft. That is where your safety is. All right. Y'all are going to, you got to exercise a little bit of foresight. And I know some of y'all are 30 and, 25. Think about what you're going to want for yourself at 35, at 45. You're not going to be saying the same things you're saying today. Make those same adjustments quick. Submit yourself to that process and you will find prosperity. That man will fancy you worth taking that risk for. I promise you.
Uh-oh, that's Trigger, everybody. Trigger, what day do you what day is your show?
All weekdays. I go
Oh,
hard this
all
week.
weekday, any day of
I
the
work
week.
like a
Catch my dude.
Nigerian, Jamaican,
That's
Mexican.
it. You heard them. Any day of the week. Any other ladies? Anybody have a solution?
Just ladies, date with intention.
There
Don't
we go.
allow the man to just put you in a corner and tell you what you're going to be. Have those standards, stand on it, and don't give in. So you know what? Stand on your grounds, respect yourself, and that man will come and respect and appreciate you.
I agree with
Okay.
Court, and I want to add too that you could be in a long-term relationship with a man for years in your early 20s, and then he decides, I'm not marrying you. And then guess what? You gotta start all over. So that happens quite often. So you have to not waste your time. Be intentional. Be intentional 1,000%. And I also want to add that what you want at 20 is not what you want at 30, 40, 50. So I agree with Mike. You have to think long term. What do I want over the span of my life? Not what looks good at 25, because it ain't going to be the same in 10, 20 years at all. You're going to think different. You're going to want different. You're going to want to live somewhere different. Okay. Everything's different. You're going to dress different. So you have to keep that in mind. Don't just think about the superficial things, materialistic things, and what looks good right now. Because everything looks good at 25, right? Everything's sparkly, muscles, cars. Like all those things are irrelevant when it comes to a long-term family and building that generational wealth, building a healthy family, and choose somebody who's going to stick through the hard times. So many people of this generation, they just give up so easily. They're like, I don't know, this is too hard. On to the next one. Nah, I don't like this. I got options on Instagram, girls in my DMs,
Serial
men in my
dater.
DMs. Yes, it's like, oh, this one's prettier. This one makes more money. Like, no. You really have to think, does this person have the character and integrity to make it through the long term life, real life? Like, if you don't have that, you don't have any foundation. So those are the things that are important. Okay, thank you.
Thank
All
you,
right.
Balance.
We still got
Cam,
more. I'm gonna read these real quick.
go for it.
My man Gia trying to get is like, Mike, read my super chat. I had to go all the way back and find them. Let me find them real quick. All right, my man Lord Giatron says $2. Appreciate that. Bottom line, Black women need protection from their own mind. Let me explain what he means by that. I just had this thought. All right, so it's hard to say these things on YouTube, but I believe we're getting to the space where we can say it to women. It says it. I believe it says it, and I've heard pastors say this. Women have to be careful who they let guide them spiritually. And it's very dangerous. I don't know why, but it's dangerous for a woman to guide herself, right? That's why you go to church. You have to be careful who you let guide you spiritually. For some reason, your ability, your countenance is made to be impressionable, right? And that's why it's so easy for a man to sell you false hope. So if you look at it that way, that dude that you're bitter about, that dude you can't stop talking crap about, he was so easy to break down your defenses because you're impressionable, right? So he sold you false hope because you let him guide you. You let him taint your spirit and take you wherever which way he wanted to go. So I believe that's what this means by you need protection from your own mind. You will start to make up false, he'll sell you that false hope. You'll start dreaming about y'all wedding and how you can change him, and all he needs is to feel my spirit and all of it. Like you'll start getting rocks and what is energy rocks and stuff to put on in his back. Like, look, ladies, be careful who you let spiritually guide you. The right man will do this the right way, but y'all got to stay down with the right one. I'm telling you, I believe that wholeheartedly. Lord Giatron again. Black men don't choose to be single. Black women we love are unfit. I read that one. Oh, okay. All done. Mike, take off that Texas hat. No, we getting a good quarterback. I'm gonna keep it on. This is foresight. I'm exercising foresight. Super Bowl in 5 years. All right, that's it.
You're muted. Curves.
All right. No, I was saying I think Bruiser's trying to come up here. How do we let him in?
Drop him the link.
Who's trying to come up?
Bruiser.
Bruiser?
Oh, okay. I got it.
Bruiser, don't bring no Thursday energy up here.
I was
This
just
is
about to say,
peaceful.
Bruiser. I was just
in
gonna
the
say you
innocent,
gotta
you
be on your best behavior. We're not doing that over here.
the innocent, you still in there? Call in, Bruiser. I just dropped the link. Go ahead, come through.
Because this is a peaceful build. This
I'm
is
telling you.
Solution Monday.
Hey, he's a
Evolution
married man. Y'all let
No,
Bruiser.
Bruiser's
This
cool.
is-
He's cool. I like
this
to
is
give him a hard
solutions.
time though, because he likes to talk mess.
Balance, you didn't warn me about Thursday.
Bruiser.
I'm sorry, sis. You know what? I meant to too. Thursday is the hard day.
That's why I was like,
Actually,
They
have to
actually
go.
they were nice to me. They were nice.
Because it was your first time.
Thank you for having me, guys. I have to go.
Hey, listen,
lady.
Balance. Don't go.
Yeah. Bruiser is here.
Now you got to go, say.
I don't mess with Bruiser. I'm just kidding. No, I have to. I have to go. Good evening.
Right.
See you later, sis.
Adios.
Bruiser, you got anything you want to add to these topics?
Yeah. Did y'all already get to the topic that says is the black man choosing to be single?
Yeah, we did. Did you see that video?
No, y'all got a video? Oh,
Yeah,
I
there
like
was
to
a
see it.
video.
Can I see it?
Are we allowed to replay it?
You can
Are
if
you
you want,
allowed?
Curse.
This your show,
I got it.
Curse. What you talking
I
about?
know. I was just saying if I don't want to know. All right.
Come on.
When I meet women and they talking about, oh, I want marriage and I want kids, I'm out of there. I'm gone. That is not where my life is going. Oh, you thought I was the one. Oh, you thought I was gonna come in and change your life. Oh, you thought we was gonna live happily ever after. Oh, no, we not. No, we not. I am not the one. I am here for a good time, not a long time, baby. So when I hear women talking about commitment and they want this and that and they ready and they tired of playing games, well, listen, baby, I am not the one. If you want to be friends, you want to have sex, you want to, you know what I'm saying, kick it, by all means, let's do it. But once you start talking about I'm in love, which usually happens, hit a U-turn on hit the gas, skip no brakes. If you catching feelings, I'm running. I gotta go. It's not that I'm an asshole. It's not that like I have no heart, that I'm a narcissist. Now, you might be saying like, okay, well, why do you even deal with women? Well, what the fuck am I supposed to deal with, myself?
Come on, Bruiser, give it to us.
God damn, who is that dude?
I thought it was you at first, but I was like, shit, no, Bruiser's married. I'm just playing with you. Go ahead. No, for real. Like, is he tripping?
Oh, it's kind of hard to say. Given the circumstances and the state of society, I mean, he's allowed to behave in this manner.
That's fair.
I mean, he's allowed to behave in this manner. And damn, why did everybody cam off?
That's what I was thinking. I was like, is it? I mean,
but you got to understand.
We all got
man.
water. We went to get some water. Go ahead, Bruiser.
Everybody want to go get some damn water. Lord have mercy. So, he's a young man. He has charm. Looking at the way he dressed, he looked like he got the bag. You know, he has a little status on him, and he doesn't want kids. So he only wants his turn, and he's making that clear. He has multiple options. You know, he has his pick of the litter. And because women at their highest do not require anything in order to bust it open.
Oh.
You know, once women discover this, you know, they'll start to move differently. And that's whenever they get cut off. You know, because they try to force this dude a different way. But they've already given up the goods. So when you approach men like this, you got to be on. You got to be precise. You got to be a laser focus on what you want. If you want to get married, if you want to get hitched, you can't be out here spraying your legs to these guys, especially these type of guys.
Can a dude like him change his mind possibly? Could he meet a woman that's like, wow, damn.
It's not going to.
And I was going to say, I'm a fan. Oh, not a fan, but I believe most men aren't going to change their mind. Whatever they say up front, like what he said, he told you what it was. But is there, like, do you think that there is a special woman who he could meet and he'd be like, damn, maybe I might want something real? No, that's dead. I'm just curious.
Do you see how the women are behaving in society right now? Who does he have as a reference to have any hope or any imitation, any template of looking at, oh shit, man, this is a woman I need to freaking go for. No, it's not going to take a woman for him to run into to actually change his state of mind. What's going to change his state of mind is his desire to have children. And he seems like he's well read. So once he desire to have children, that's what's going to make him want to sit down somewhere and actually change his mentality, because then being that he's well read, he recognizes that it's best for him to be married in order, to have these kids, to flourish. It's best that he be married in order for his kids to have the best chance at life.
So are you implying, just balance 1 second, because I think you came up off your mic. Are you implying that the only time a man should get serious is if he wants kids and he's like, maybe he doesn't want to deal with all the baby mama drama, so he's like, it's best that I choose her to settle down with so I don't have to go through all that extra shit. Is that what you're saying, or did I miss something?
No, I'm saying whenever this man wants to have children, whenever he wants to procreate, that's when he should get married. That's when he desires to get married. It's not about the woman at this point. The women aren't moving in unison in this day and age. And they don't have a standard right now. We're not able to see it. We're not able to look at women and say, oh, this is the standard. It's just so scattered. Everybody so different. But there's similarity in once you get to a certain age, once women get to a certain age, like around 30, 35, then they start to keen in on wanting to be wives and stuff. But that's when they've already been ran through. They have already given their time and the best of themselves to guys who aren't really interested in commitment. And it's almost, I hate to say this word, but I have to say it. It's like once you become left over, or once you reach age bracket, now you feel inclined to, I need to hurry up and get married. What? And you should. But a lot of these women, they have these requirements for these men. They want them to meet these requirements as if they were they have the same value in between 18 and 30. But it changes. When women think they can just set their value, it's the man that actually set your value. And it may seem misogynistic or whatever, but it's the reality of things. But if you out here giving up, if you're 19 and you at the top of your game as a woman, and you just busting it open without any requirements, you're not demanding us to marry you, what do you think we're gonna do?
Bust it open.
We're gonna bust it open. We're gonna penetrate. We're gonna pound it open. All three holes. We're gonna give you pain.
Okay, balance. What did you have to add? Because Bruiser,
I know that's Bruiser. We're used to him by now.
To the next level.
I do have a question for him, since he's an older man and he's now married. You have Cam here, who is in her early 20s and desires to be a wife immediately, as she should. What advice can you give her on how you chose your wife, and what were the qualities you chose in your current wife? So, you give Cam, some advice.
Hey, how's it going, Cameron? I remember you from Sunday.
Hey, how are you?
Right?
Yeah.
48 hours, 24 hours ago. So, Cameron, do you feel like you're at your best?
I don't feel like I'm at my best, but I think I'm at a good point in my life.
Why do you don't feel like you're at your best?
Because there's still things I want to achieve for myself personally that I feel like would make me like a good wife or a better wife or a better mom in the future. So I just think that they're still like developing in myself, but I definitely think that in this point in time, I'm still a very good candidate for marriage.
You think you're a candidate for marriage, but you don't think you're at your best. You don't think you qualify to be a wife or a mother, but you say you're a candidate to be married.
Okay, so maybe I said that. I think that I have the qualities. I know I have the qualities to be a good wife and to be a good mother. Maybe just the things that I want to accomplish are just like personal goals. So maybe I just came out wrong. But yeah, I think in the wife and mother department, I have those qualities in myself.
So you're willing to fit in the man's system.
Absolutely.
That's like number one. You're young, you're already past that part. You're impressionable, you're willing to learn, you're willing to fit in the man's system. More power to you. But do you know what it's going to take to be able to thrive in another man in a man's system?
Being open to listen and being led, um, not being combative. I feel like they're like good key things.
Bruiser, you're the teacher, right?
I'm just
You're supposed to
asking
be
her. I mean,
dropping the gems.
Yeah, what did you see in your wife? I'm listening.
what did I see in my wife? The first thing I saw in my wife, man, y'all might not believe it. Me and her was on the yard in Virginia State University. Shout out to the Trojans at Virginia State. We were sitting on the
Okay.
yard. We were sitting on the yard in front. Actually met her on a basketball court, but we would sit around and we just talk about anything, like just stupid shit, like just anything. And we would just make each other laugh. And I actually enjoyed the time being around her. And that let me know that, look, man, if I can do this, if I can sit here and talk to my wife for hours about anything, just nonsense, then when I know when all the beauty fade, in which it will, whenever your skin start getting saggy, in which it will, the conversation just drew us, just put us, it took us to a whole nother level. I knew that I would be able to sit in front of my wife and just be able to enjoy the time, with her. But see, a lot of guys, they choose women based on their physical aesthetics, but they don't understand that those things are going to be affected with time. So what do you got? What else do you got to lean on?
How long did it
So
take you
I
to
found
know?
something else deeper.
Sorry. How long did it take you before you knew, like, you were ready to marry her and you were ready?
Oh, so I knew I was ready to get married. I just didn't know who was that woman gonna be. That's how a man operate. We already know we want to get married. Once we know we want to have kids, then we know, hey, look, it's time to go ahead and put the cards in. It's time to go ahead and settle down and find a wife that's worthy. It's just a matter of finding somebody that fit the deal, somebody that was willing to cooperate with me. You know what I'm saying? And I chose her and I asked her, you know what I'm saying? Hey, look, I asked her a series of questions. And I said, I made sure she was feminine. I made sure she was delicate. She maintained fitness. She was graceful. She had the ability to maintain a demeanor of elegance, showing poise and control during challenging situations. I actually purposely challenged her to just see because she was younger than me. She was 6 years younger than me. Her level of sensitivity. I knew she was nurturing. Once I met her mother and stuff, I knew she had the ability to be nurturing. She came from a really good mom. So she had that femininity, selflessness. She wasn't really so keen on having material things. She wanted children before I didn't even I didn't even bring it up. She said she wanted, I encourage her for life to tell you. She encourages her life, talk to my wife all the time. My wife want 10 kids.
I know she wanted 10 though.
Oh, she didn't tell you?
I know she wanted 10, but shout out to his wife.
funny.
She's dope.
Yeah,
Well,
I don't believe I was my best when I met my husband. I believe through the years I became and becoming my best version of myself. So, Cam, I don't want you to think that you have to have it all figured out prior to meeting your, partner. Just have those core values, in which just from, hearing you speak, you have that. So, I don't think it's going to be a problem for you at all. So, don't overthink it. It's not rocket science. You know what I mean? I don't know. That I just wanted to just throw that in there.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And I also just wanted to add to what Balance was saying earlier about, we were talking about the age limit of women and things like that. I think that in being intentional with dating and wanting marriage and things like that, that you need to set a time limit of your relationship, and you need to let that known up front. That you have that time limit. Like I said yesterday, mine is 2 years. I don't plan on being a girlfriend longer than 2 years. If the relationship has not, escalated past a year point and there's engagement conversation or at least a ring, then I'm leaving, because again, I don't have time to waste and I want marriage. So I think that in being intentional, that comes with setting those time limits in relationships so that you can move on and move forward and you're not stuck 5-year 8-year girlfriend relationships.
So you might want to ask him what's the holdup, because a lot of guys might feel like they need to accomplish certain things, a certain level of salary, in order to propose. So if you're willing to, and you're young, and it's okay to help him, meet these goals. If you can find it inside yourself to ask him and say like, hey, what's taking so long? Like, is there anything that you feel like you gotta check off before we get married? Let me know, and maybe I can assist you in getting that thing done, so that we can go ahead and move forward. I'm willing to help you grow. You just let him know you're not the typical woman that want to wait at the finish line. You actually want to help him get to the finish line. So if he's able to communicate with you, and it sounds like, what I'm saying, you in for a good deal. I would actually, and how much time you got invested in him already? How much time like y'all been together?
A year.
Oh, so you've been together for a year? Yeah. So you've been together for a year. I take it y'all
It's
met
coming
each
up.
other.
It's coming up.
Oh, it's coming up. So y'all met each other parents. I wouldn't try to do ultimatums too much. Ultimatums kind of makes a man feel like, oh, you're controlling, or, what I'm saying? Just try to figure out what's going on, try to figure out, say, I'm like, hey, look, you can be open to me. Let me know what's going on. What's holding you back? Maybe I can help you.
Look, can I add something to this? And this is not only just for you, Cam, this is for women in general. One thing that we've noticed in watching women achieve their goals is that you have no problem setting milestones for yourself. So you shouldn't have any problem doing that in a relationship. If it doesn't matter how good this man is to you, set a milestone, set a checkpoint. Let the man know, let me know exactly where this is headed, or I'm going to cut off your access to me. All right. So just like Bruiser said, don't go with ultimatums. That is what you shouldn't do.
Can you
Because I
define
think
access? Like, is that sex or
sex.
you and
Okay.
okay, I just
Legs.
wanted you to define it. I didn't know if you meant you can't even hang out with me. Okay.
Legs.
Cutting off
No,
the
no.
got
Time.
it.
But no. Time, attention, but most of all, sex. If you want to get his attention. In fact, all of it, all together. Let him know that you are setting goals and boundaries for yourself. A man will waste your time if you let him. The only way, he's going to figure out if he's ready is if he knows if he has to make a decision within a certain timeline, right? Don't waste any more of your time. He won't waste your time. The same way you set goals and milestones for the job you want, set those in your life, your relationship situation. I'm going to give this dude 6 months to let me know he's serious, or however long you feel, if it's casual or whatever, and you seeing other people. 6 months to let me know he's serious. 1 year to let me know if he views me as a candidate for marriage. A year and a half after the relationship started, to let me know if we're getting engaged in the next year. Set all of that up so you can just move on to the next. This will let you know. I think most women will say that are married, their man talked about it. It wasn't a surprise to them. We talked about. So where do you see this going? I'm gonna marry you, right in her face, straight up, with confidence. That's where this is going. Bruiser, did you do that? I did it. All right.
When?
Don't
At
let
what
me.
point, Bruiser? At what point did you say that?
What point did I say I wanted to marry her?
Mm-hmm.
Shit, when I first met her, I said, I'm gonna marry your ass.
You told her like the first few weeks. You just dropped that on her.
First day.
Nah,
Okay.
you can't do it
No.
during. You can't do it during bed, like during.
It
The way you
wasn't. It
said it,
wasn't in
I
the
know when
bed.
you said it. No, he said, "I'm
Nah.
gonna marry your ass." I
Oh,
said the
Bruce,
same thing.
that's what it was, Bruiser.
Nah.
God, you heard the way he said it because he was even looking off at the display like,
Right, he
"I'm
was
gonna
like,
marry
I'm
your
gonna
ass."
marry you. Like,
Nah. No. When I saw her walk away, I knew that I wanted to marry her.
Oh, so he looking
Cause
at
I was
ass.
like,
Oh,
look,
man.
I know. I
Oh.
said, I know I got what it takes to be able to tame this woman. She's very tame. You know, I can mold her into the woman I want her to be. She's young and impressionable. It was just a matter of me being mature and having a sense of selflessness to be able to put the household and any kid that, you know, comes out of the deal ahead of my own desires and needs and wants. And once I knew that I can do that, I knew that any woman that was impressionable was going to be down. Because I was like I said, I was older than her. And I wasn't playing no more games. And that's why I would tell Cameron, if you busting it open, you best damn well try to stick it through with this guy. He's putting it down. You know, you might have to figure out a way. Carers will tell you the technique. You might have to squeeze tight on them and choke them or something.
you gotta listen to what Bruiser said. He said he knew when he saw her walking away. He was looking at the cheeks. He said it. Did you not just say that?
You said that.
No, that's what you said. I didn't say that. You said
Y'all can take it whatever way y'all want.
All
I'm
right.
not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say that, but I'm gonna tell you it was a good sight.
Bruiser, can I please play devil's advocate with you a little bit?
Go ahead.
Did your don't get mad at me. I genuinely want to know this. Did your first wife have the same qualities as your current wife?
Oh God. No. No. They were totally different. One was super, super chocolate, and the one I got now was kind of brown skin. Curry's like, y'all ain't gotta shut y'all camera off the show. Y'all ain't gotta. Let's just stop shutting the cameras off whenever we hear triggering questions and stuff.
I just feel like something always comes up about your previous marriage, and I'm like,
because I just want to know if you were choosing differently the second time around, or you're saying like she had the qualities, you just wasn't ready.
Man, I'm gonna tell you, my whole mentality is totally different from the first time I was out there. Like, I didn't even know how to choose. You know, I was raised in Alabama in the woods, in St. Stephen's, Alabama, the country. You know, everybody within a 10-mile radius was a relative. You had to literally drive 20 minutes out to see other women that weren't related. If you messed around within that radius, you was committing incest. That's how it was in the country. You had to get out. So when I got in the military, I got exposed to all these different type of women. My mind was blown. I was a super simp. And don't clip this, because I got a lot of people that's leaning on me right now. A lot of I'm willing to admit though. I was one of those guys that was the cartoon, whatever, the guy, the eyes go out and the tongue drop and the jaw drop. I was that guy. You know, I was lost. You know what I'm saying? But as I got older and mature, you know, I knew that those things was, you know, beyond me. And I started to move in a different way because I wanted, you know, I wanted better things in life. I saw so many examples of how to do it wrong. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to deviate from that and I'm going to try to do the right thing. So when I met my wife, you know, don't get me wrong. This was 2010 and I met my current wife in 2014. So I had a 4-year, you know, time of growth. And I'm not going to talk about anything that happened in between that, but I could admit that it was a little bit of trial and error. And when I met this woman, I had no kids, you know, I had no scars. I was a young athlete, still jumping out of the gym. You know, we both were playing basketball, and it was perfect thing, man. It was, and we even watched Love and Basketball with what's the girl name? Sanaa
Lathan. I was just about to ask you that question.
We even watched that movie, man, and that was the day. You know, she took her shirt off at the same time my wife took her shirt off. So
Bruiser.
It all played out perfectly, man. It all played out perfectly.
Thank you for sharing that. My last question, because Kim is in her early 20s, do you believe that she should marry like a man in his early 20s, or like what's your advice to her there?
That's a difficult. I mean, that's not a difficult question, but if you're gonna marry a guy in his early 20s, your father needs to be able to help you with that, because your father is able to see through these young men. You can see things in these young men that you're not able to see. Your father's actually able to look at these young men and see himself in them and be like, "Hey, look, no, that one, no." If you're gonna marry anybody around 2 to 3 years within your age range, you need your father's covering. But if you're gonna actually marry older, then you could talk to other women like balancing codes. Oh, she changed her name. You could talk to other women, that's in that age bracket. They can help you with that. But if you're gonna marry within your age bracket, you need your father's covering most definitely. It's because these guys, these young boys out here, man, Trigger Mike, what? He's the equalizer? What the hell? I'm gonna change my name.
See,
Yeah.
Shut up, Bruiser.
that's what we
When-
were actually talking about earlier, because I do advocate and say 30 plus is my age group that I prefer to date, 30 and up. So I think that I prefer to talk to older women about their experiences, older married women, because I think they have like more insight.
How
So
old are you?
I'm 23.
Okay, got it.
so let me say this. Are you currently in a relationship with someone?
Yeah.
Um, okay, he's older. Oh, okay. Never mind.
Woo, woo.
So I was gonna say, if he's younger, it's all about managing your expectations, right, and going into it correctly. So if he's already older, you still have to manage your expectations, and you're gonna have to be ready to, um, I don't know, it's just a lot less leeway with things. Okay, he's a leader either way, but when he's older than you, you have to be ready to listen a little bit more. um I'm not gonna say like getting talked at, but men who already have certain things established need things to move on schedule. They need things to move on time. You're right. It's less of that partnership type of thing that people talk about, because y'all didn't build each other. He more than likely built himself. So you're gonna need to move with a man who's built already, right? He needs you here at this place at this time. He needs you to know what to wear and not to give him any shit and not embarrass him when you get there, right? So, yeah, you just pick up cues. The one good thing that you learn from dating older men, I think, because I have homies with younger wives, right? I'm 36. I got a homie with a 26-year-old wife. He's about 38 years old, right? She always, like, she spends her time around those wives. She gets all the knowledge from them. And make yourself available. Do not be that snob that acts like you're too good because you're younger and prettier. Soak all that knowledge up and basically let them know you need them to be able to serve your husband and your relationship correctly. Right? Be like, I'm here. I'm just whatever knowledge you got. That's the way that girl is. That's why we all like her. That's why she's invited in these circles. Right? So I would really implore you to be that person. They will give you all the knowledge you need to make your marriage work. And it's really married people together. They keep people married. It's that circle of trust that you build, and having people and confidants to strengthen your marriage and let you know when you're wrong. That's really going to be one of the helpful tools in your marriage. So that's all I got.
Cameron, are you engaged right now?
I am engaged. We
When is
have
your when is your wedding date?
so there's no wedding date, because we kind of just want to do like an elopement type of thing. So we're gonna just courthouse it up and then vacation afterwards.
When is the date for that?
I'm letting him do that.
And how long have you been engaged?
A couple of months.
Okay. Well, I will tell you this. Because this guy, you said this guy's in his 30s. Oh yeah, there's no time to play around. This guy, I could see if you were dating a guy in his 20s, then yeah, he has to grow. You know what I'm saying? He has to grow. But a guy in his 30s has no business holding you up, taking away your precious time. Your time is precious. And this guy ain't got no excuse not to be marrying you. So the only way he's not dating a woman in his 30s because he don't want to. Probably most of the women is in his age bracket is unimpressionable, or they already have kids or anything like that. So he's dating down because he wants a wife. So if he's dating you right now and you busting it open right now, you're kind of making it more difficult for you. Actually clouding his judgment doing that.
No, is Bruiser rubbing anybody else the wrong way with this busting it open comment?
I'm sorry. I could use a different term.
God, can we read the super chat so we
Go
can
ahead and read the super chat.
It's a lot of these shit busting it open. Like, God,
he has been using that word excessively.
All right, hold on. Let me get the old ones out here. Okay, here you go. Nope, balance. I nominate balance.
Mike, keep going, because my thing. No, my phone's gonna die, and I don't want it to die.
Your phone. Oh, Jesus, a lot of super chats. Mr. Rich, marriage, politics, and sports. My brother is not tripping. He simply ain't the one woman. Try to change, especially if he's honest up front. Marcus Evans, stop being on nutish, curve. Mr. Rich again, $10. Ideally, no man give a woman a baby unless he wants to get married, especially that dude in the video. Marcus Evans, $5. Cam and Court, stay strong in these spaces. Mr. Rich again, Cameron, don't overthink it. You can accomplish your goals within the purview of your man's plan. There should be flexibility in his plan as long as your goals are not pie in the sky. Marcus Evans, $5. Shout out to Bruiser and Court for sharing wisdom to Cam, much needed. Shout out to Bruiser, Trigger Mike, and Court for sharing wisdom to Cam, much needed. Chad Poole, $2. I knew my wife was a wife after our first date. You know how many times we've heard that? They know. Don't let them lie to you. They just want to keep hitting that ass because it's available. All right, Mr. Rich, $2. Cameron, good move. Don't let a guy waste your time because he will if you let him. Bruiser, you know the Migos fam? Yeah. Bruiser is actually the fourth Migo. His name is off subject.
My brother, my youngest brother name is DJ Darrell. He actually DJs and makes the beats for the Migos. Well, now I guess you can call it Quavo now, since rest in peace to Takeoff. And Offset is on his own now. So
he's off the set.
What? Huh? What?
You had to sneak that one in there. All right. Y'all ready to be sister wives? Hey, listen. I know this is going to sound crazy, but polygamy is about to save the black community. I'm just saying. All of y'all that weren't in favor of it, but all right, shake your head. You about to be making deals. Marcus Evans, $5. Thanks for sharing that story, Bruiser. But sooner or later, one of these ladies will use it against you. Be careful. Oh, Balance gonna use it. She gonna use it.
No, Balance my sister, man. She ain't gonna do me like that. We cool.
All right, that's it. I'll probably skip one. Somebody gonna give me, but King Spark. Well, never mind. Mike, you are not 36, bro. Add a couple of zeros. Look, bro, if you want to meet me somewhere, y'all gonna stop calling me old, okay? This gray streak came early. That's the only place it's at.
How old are you, Trigger Mike?
36.
How am I older than you, though? Like, God.
Look, man.
I'm just,
you want me to get really just for men? I'm one of the only natural dudes up here.
I keep
everybody else dying their damn beards. I ain't got time for all that dye in my sink.
What? I ain't dyed nothing, man. I just stay in the gym, bro. I stay in the gym.
No, I'm just saying, everybody on YouTube dyeing their damn beard, so everybody think that's what a 40-year-old man beard look like. That ain't what their beard look like.
Can we talk about how the
I know JR,
he
50, ain't he?
At though? Have y'all seen some of these older guys with the mitten?
Say again, what is it?
I said how the salt and pepper beards, they look really great. Like I see some men with that mitten, it's nice.
Oh yeah. Ladies, do whenever y'all kissing it and kissing these men, do they Beijing rubber on y'all makeup and stuff?
No, it's funny when a dude with Beijing on got a fitted cap on, he take it off in the spot. I'm like, dude, Look at that.
I
You smeared.
don't deal with those. No, I don't deal with those. Mm-mm.
Without all the super chats?
They keep dropping it. Look, man, I'm about to start getting women on my panel. People love dropping money. This is crazy how human psychology works. Where there are women, dudes just start spending cash. Y'all some tricks. Oh my goodness, y'all some
You
tricks.
should know that, by the way. Clubs.
I better
and
make
bars and
500
everything
on my
else,
show
so-
tomorrow. All these people be patronizing my show, but they'll type in the chat. But when they want to talk to the ladies, y'all super chat. I can't believe y'all.
Don't knock them. Encourage them. We need that. Keep sending them super
Not
chats.
we
Thank
need
you,
them.
guys.
Sorry, I'm gonna change my marketing strategy up. All y'all about to be on my show in the morning.
Hey, ladies, have y'all informed Cameron to make sure she get the what is the little implant thing for birth control? You know
What
which
is
one
that
is that?
called? Explanon. I think that's what it's called.
Look, golden face in my face. We like,
I'm
nah.
not.
Explanon something.
Birth
Hold
control's
on,
not
Golden,
good.
you against that?
Don't do it.
It's not good for. I actually was on that in high school and like all through college.
It's not healthy.
So, like it's really bad for your body. So there's other methods you could take to protect yourself, which I do. I just don't use birth control.
So you
There
on
you go.
you on a pill right now?
Come on, Bruiser. Like, damn, goddamn.
He don't want
Bill,
single
you got a
moms.
little
He
one, you
don't-
shove up your cooch. Like, what's next? What's next? You gonna ask her, man?
No, I'm just trying.
You want a
Listen,
pill?
I don't want to be. I don't
Bruiser a
want her to say.
gynecologist now.
You got an
I'm trying to
intrauterine
make sure
device?
being safe. Like,
How far is it up there? Like what the fuck?
I don't want her to say.
when's
I
the
was
last
on
time
a
you got a
panel
pap
with
smear?
Bruiser and Trigger Mike, and they didn't tell me that I needed to have this protection. You know, when I'm not married.
I
What do you mean?
definitely believe in protecting yourself. Yeah, that's why I say like there's definitely protection in use, but it's not birth control.
I'm about to say nah. She engaged now. I remember them days. That club getting shot. I'm sorry.
All
I'm
right, and that concludes the solution.
I didn't
I
say it.
appreciate
Them days
everybody
super
coming up
freaky.
here tonight.
That club
Cam, you
getting
may need to use that extra room until it's official.
Hey, yo, that's right, Court.
I'm out, y'all. Y'all have a good night.
All right, y'all.
Thanks for watching. I feel like
Are we done?
we're done.
Okay.